Morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy, very, very wet and moist Tuesday, March 21st to you. Let's get our heads right. If the early bird gets the worm, then I'm sitting on an S-load of worms. I'll explain in a moment. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer, YouTube director, and then some. Hi, Paulie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Fantastic. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, is here as well. Benjamin brought his glasses today. You are looking very studious and very ready for vacation.
Sad that I have to go on vacation to find good weather. Like leave San Diego to find some better weather on the East Coast.
It's an odd one.
What's happened to us out here?
It is an odd one. I saw a tweet from our pal Scott Lewis, Voice of San Diego, yesterday. Said he had lunch with somebody that's lived in San Diego for about 90 days. And they're like, this place kind of sucks. It just rains all the time, and it's kind of terrible. And Scott's like, no, dude, you don't get it. Like, this place is literal perfection. And the guy's like, I mean, show me, don't tell me, dude. At this point, like, I got to see something. It has been horrendous. And every time that you think it's behind you, you look at the 10-day forecast and you go, it's coming again. It's going to stop. I think it's going to stop Wednesday night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday should be a beautiful weekend, which I think look, Monday and Tuesday are a little wet and rainy. Fine. As long as the weekends are okay. If you got kids, if you got pets and you're home on the weekend, you need those turds to get out and run around and have stuff to do. But man, I look and Hannah goes, oh God, the day before opening day, it's supposed to rain.
I was just about to look at the opening day forecast. I never even think about it here because it's going to be perfect. It's opening day.
What do you got?
All right. So next Thursday.
Yeah. A week from this Thursday.
69 and sunny.
Ooh, perfect.
Nice.
How nice is that?
Yeah. We've got rain tomorrow, a little chance on Thursday, and then I got nothing but
sunny skies.
Suns on the app the rest of the way.
She said she saw a little drip on Wednesday, the day before opening day. So maybe it's changed. But listen,
I've got 59 and cloudy on opening day, but no rain after Thursday.
59 is a bit nipply for opening day, but we'll be fine. I mean, we'll be fine. You throw a hoodie on. I look better in a hoodie anyway. I was saying the early bird gets the worm. I have a ton of worms because today was one of those days where usually my wife is pretty good about not waking me. She gets up early at 1 to work out. She said I had a fitful night's sleep. I was tossing and turning. I was asking her a bunch of questions. I don't know what exactly happened, but when she got up, I got up at 1 and I lied in bed and I surfed the internet and looked at Twitter. And I went and did some housekeeping on our Instagram DMs. I deleted every DM we've ever gotten. Just wanted a nice start, fresh plate. Because I will admit, since we've been doing the YouTube, you can see us on YouTube at Ben and Woods. Follow us there, subscribe, all that. You can super comment as well. I still don't know what that means, but I'm supposed to say it. I realized I've been neglecting some of our friends that still post to us over on Instagram. Here's the other weird thing. I won't look at our Facebook page. I refuse to. Paulie handles that every week or so. He'll go in and look at it. You can send messages from Facebook to Instagram. So then there's a whole separate folder of these weird messages that I'm like, oh my God, who are these people? Where did they come from? They're from Facebook. So I went and I cleaned them all out. So we're starting fresh on Instagram, but really kind of where we want to do our chatting on a daily basis is on Twitter at Ben and Woods and on the YouTube feed as well. It makes it really easy. It's like real time.
During the show,
the
YouTube
clutch.
chat's where it's at.
It's really clutch. And listen, I know people work, you're driving, you don't have time to YouTube chat, but if you want to, get your comments and things like that in, that's a good place to do it.
I can only be reached now on the Peloton app.
Yes.
If you want to contact me with my username North County Ben.
Yeah,
that's where everyone's finding me yesterday.
I wanted to ask you about said Peloton post.
I'll have to admit, so yesterday I finished my ride and I got the little notification of a milestone that they do that to kind of encourage you to keep riding, little streaks, personal records, things like that. And it came up that this is your 156th consecutive week of Pelotoning. That's a 3-year milestone. And I got the little 3-year badge. And I thought, all right, I don't usually self-proclaim, milestones here, but I took a picture with my instructor, Leanne, on the screen and my little badge and my milestone. And I said, you know what? I started when the pandemic started 3 years ago when everything shut down. I said, all right, if you're going to have to work out at home, we've got this Peloton. We've had it for a few months. Shelly wanted it, but she didn't really use it much. So I started, I'm going to get on this thing and I'm going to start. Will I stick with it? Probably not. And I thought, wow, I have stuck with it and I have not missed. That means at least one ride. I average about 3 to 4 a week, but at least one ride every week for 3 years. And so I posted it, and then I got a lot of comments, new followers. People are finding me on the Peloton app now.
Oh, they found you on the Peloton.
Oh yeah,
app.
I have like 20 new followers on the Peloton app.
If I was going to judge by the profile picture, I'd say that most of those new followers.
Look, Paulie's called it up on our YouTube screen. That's amazing, Paul.
I bet you out of those new followers, 18 out of 20 are probably young ladies. If I had to guess, based on that profile picture of the young lady killer.
That's the picture you made me bring in, my headshot from 23 years ago when I took that to try to get a television job. And I went to a professional photography studio. They made me take my belt off for some reason. I don't know why, but that's what we ended up with, kind of a black and white sort of
very
model-esque photo of me.
Brooding.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a dating app where I'm trying to deceive people and meet them that way. I just thought that was aspirational. I'm trying to look good. Why would you put a picture of yourself not looking good on your workout profile picture?
Bro, I don't have one picture of myself that looks good at all. So I don't know what I would pick.
I had to go back 20 some odd years to do it, but it did exist back in the day.
All right.
I'm glad you said that, because when I first saw that, I go, is that a dating profile or your Peloton app? Because I'm like, North County Ben.
That's the one. North County Ben. What is that about?
Well, you go around calling yourself North County Ben, and
I think San Diego Ben was taken.
Okay.
And I felt like Encinitas Ben was too specific. Ben Higgins, so I just went with North County Ben.
It's incredible.
It's inclusive of, I'm from North County. I've always been from North County.
It's so good. Well, first of all, congratulations, because sticking with anything, even if it's just once a week, sticking with anything for 3 years is a big deal. I've fallen in love with the game of golf. I haven't been to the driving range every week for 3 years. I mean, I've taken a month off at a time. It's very difficult to do anything for that long. I mean, there's a couple things that I'm daily. Rarely miss a day.
Showering,
a couple other things. That
stroganoff
wasn't what I was thinking about, but yeah. I mean, listen, I'm committed to certain things, but not the Peloton. I hated it. My wife got me the shoes, and cardio for me is such an issue because I get bored. It's not that I can't do it. I can get my ass on a treadmill and walk and run, and I can get on a rowing machine and I can row. I can get on a Peloton and I can ride. I'm bored out of my mind. And I don't care what Imagine Dragons soundtrack you got playing for me on Peloton. I don't care what beautiful landscapes you have in front of me. I know where I am. I'm in my garage, or I'm at Choose Fitness. You're not going to sell me. Hey, I'm on the Brooklyn Bridge. Everybody, look at me. Radioactive.
Isn't this fun?
Hey, this is like it's just like being there. Bro, you're not going to sell me on it. It's still cardio. It's boring. It's so boring. So what I've been trying to do is more of that HIIT stuff, the jumping jacks, and bro,
high intensity interval training.
My dumb ass yesterday at Choose. I had a rough day yesterday. I was annoyed all day. So I went to the gym, and it's a good feeling. And I absolutely raged in there. I raged, and I felt so good when I was done, but I had to get my heart pumping a little bit. So I'm looking at this app that I use, and it's like, all right, so 50 jumping jacks. So you look kind of dorky doing jumping jacks in the gym. It was packed, by the way. It looked like a nightclub. So then it was like, all right, 30 seconds of high knees. So I'm in shoes like this, just
your own fitness montage.
Just a dork. Just such a dorky. It's just so dorky. But for me, it was better than going and getting on the stair stepper. I just get so bored. I'll listen to a podcast. I don't want to listen to a podcast. The running on the treadmill. Some people lock in, they feel good. Peloton, you lock in, you feel good.
I do think for me,
hate it.
I think
that's why I had to do basketball. Get back into basketball. That's my cardio.
It's the only way.
I mean,
maybe walking a golf course.
I hate it all too, but maybe Peloton makes it 15% less bad because I do like the I like all the digital numbers on the screen, like showing me like
I get it
where I am in the rankings, and I can push myself just a little bit more to try to pass the other people who are riding at the same time. If that gives me a little bit motivation to do a little bit better and go a little bit harder.
Where do you ride? Are you like, hey, I'm in San Francisco or I'm in Brooklyn?
No, I'm watching my instructor, Leanne. 90% of the time I do one of her classes, and she'll pick the music tracks, and it'll be a theme. Like yesterday I did a classic rock ride, but it might be 90s, it might be 2000s, it could be disco, whatever. They'll do different music rides. Occasionally I'll do they have something called a lane break, which is more like a game. It's like an app where you there's different ports where you speed up and you make it harder, and you kind of go back and forth, and you're basically following along to make it a bit of a game. But most of the time I just do whatever Leanne tells me to do.
I bet you do. I would too. Question for you. And this is a bit personal. I rode it for a while. My wife got me the shoes, the clip-ons, and all that. Does your baunch hurt?
First month, yeah. Then after that, it went away, and now I'm pretty easy now.
So you have your baunch is calloused now. You have a calloused taint from riding the Peloton. It's like playing guitar.
You're supposed to get back on the seat, so you're getting a little more.
I get it, but that thing that sticks through there, aren't you like?
Yeah, but you shouldn't be leaning forward on it. You should be actually getting on the back part of the seat, like get way on the back of the seat, as far back as you can go.
Your tailbone hurt?
I mean, after the first few weeks.
It takes
I've done 3 years, so I've pretty much.
You have.
Plus,
your taint looks like an iron worker's hands right now.
Yeah, I'm out of the saddle a lot, as they say. You get up and out of the saddle, and you're doing the little jog. It's not my favorite part either, but
when she's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, you're like, please kill me.
You.
Like, I don't want to do this.
Get that resistance up and get out of the saddle.
Well, I'm glad that you did that. It is impressive. There's no question about it. That's quite a commitment. Could you, now that you've done 3 years, do you look at it and go, where would I be? Do you guys always do this with your fitness? Man, I wish I would have just stuck to that. I really liked it, and I don't know why I quit. And God, you think about where you would be.
Well,
had you just stuck to it.
I mean, you can look at it both ways. You can say, boy, I did 3 years, and look at me. It doesn't look like it did much. Or you could say, I wonder, it may not look like it, but I definitely feel like I'm in the best shape I've been in like 20 years in terms of just endurance, fitness, just part of that, those parts of it. My back doesn't hurt as much anymore. It's much, much better. And I feel like if I had continued on the way I was a few years ago without doing this, I'd be in really bad shape, both literally and not literally at this point. So yeah, I'm glad that I started, and I'm glad that I stuck with it.
Had a great name for you that you missed out on. Instead of North County Ben Sanitas. Holy crap, that would have been perfect.
That's a good one.
That's a really, really good one.
All right, speaking of good ones, we had a great baseball game last night that we need to talk about.
It's one of the best.
Really,
one of the best.
Fantastic. It felt like October, but in March at the World Baseball Classic, and now we're set up for an epic final later today. However, I got a bone to pick with Team Japan, one of the finalists, especially if you're a Padres fan, wondering what's going on. So we'll talk about that coming up. Later on, we'll talk a little San Diego State in the Sweet 16. Our old friend Sam Scholl, who we used to have on all the time at our old station when he was the coach at USD. He's now an assistant under Brian Dutcher, and is going to give us some of the inside scoop on what happened back there in Orlando, the first 2 rounds of the tournament, and how the team is getting ready to face Alabama on Friday in the regional semifinals in Kentucky. Do that at 8:35. All of our regular features, Roundel Report, Don't Do This. Take on Woods and the Daily Ditty coming up next. Woodsy's pick, and it continues to be women of rock and roll as we get started on a Tuesday. I'm sorry you had a fitful night of sleep. That's a weird word. I always thought it felt like it sounds positive. Like, oh, I'm very fitful, but you actually you're full of fits during the night and not sleeping well.
Don't know what happened. I was interrogating my wife apparently all through the night. No idea what's going on.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Ambien.
This is where I'm at. Yeah. It happens.
I know how that works for you. All right, well, check traffic. I'm sure it's not great out there on the very rainy, wet roadway, so be careful. Listen to Kelly. Drive slower. Listen to Ben and Woods, and we'll be back with our Daily Ditty next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Whew, love her. Sharon Van Etten is the name, and Mistakes is the song. Celebrating women in rock and roll, probably for the rest of the month, to be honest with you. It is National Women's Month, and they're bringing it, man. They're bringing it in all facets of music, certainly, but especially in the rock and roll game. So she is one of my favorite artists going right now, Sharon Van Etten. And I believe she goes by Sharon Van Halen on social media, which is pretty funny. And she's got the van, so
everyone
cool.
with a van in their name is much cooler.
If you've got a van, that's like part of your last name, you're automatically cooler than anybody else. Ben Van Higgins. You've changed your name, I see. I
have updated my Peloton profile. I am now Bensonitas. Thank you for the suggestion.
It's brilliant. It's better than North County Ben.
That one was not taken. I had never tried that one before, but maybe I should change my Twitter account to Bensonitas. No, I'm going to stick with Ben Higgins SD.
Yeah, I would. You built a nice profile there.
So I'm not going to make that change, but I hope everyone who found me on Peloton yesterday will continue to follow me under my new ID. Bensonitas.
Ladies, you should see that picture. It is something else.
I do have one of those gel padded seats to make
your
resting easier.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
I did too. We have that on ours. But it
just never could get to it. You just soft.
Mine's very sensitive, that area.
Soft under region.
The soft underbelly, as it were.
Not much.
You got to build up that muscle.
That's what they say.
It's like working out.
It's like playing guitar. Your fingers, if you haven't played in a while, it really hurts. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, you're just like, oh, okay, I got calluses. You callus your tape.
Oh, when I first started learning how to play guitar, I was like, this
You're like,
sucks.
This is terrible. Who would ever want to do this? Like, how do people do this for a living?
Golf is the same way.
Yeah, you're like little razors is what they are. Yeah, it's terrible. God. Terrible.
So we didn't have much in the way of updates on the Padres yesterday, it being a day off, and they'll be off until tonight, 6:40 against the Colorado Rockies. I did a little research on my own.
Well, I was going to say, against better judgment, based on some of the combos we had on the air yesterday, I reached out to a source about Austin Nola and never heard back. So,
nice try, lose my number.
He did not say that yet, but I always wonder if he's offended.
So obviously the assumption is that Austin Nola suffered a broken nose when he was hit by a pitch on Sunday by Michael Fulmer of the Cubs. And I thought, all right, well, what's the worst case scenario here? Remember when Kevin Pillar was drilled in the face in 2021? He had multiple nasal fractures. It looked really, really bad and needed surgery on his nose to fix it. He went on the 10-day injured list, but actually returned in the minimum 10 days with a face. He had a face shield on when he was playing. Now, he was playing in the outfield. He wasn't behind the plate wearing a catcher's mask or anything, but it was a pretty bad broken nose, like multiple fractures that required surgery to set. And he still came back in 10 days. Now, we were yesterday 10 days away from opening day. Is that a sign that, even if it was a fairly bad injury, that Austin Nola should be able to return? Pure speculation on my part, just based on comparing it to someone else's injury. I don't know how similar they are. You don't know if there's any other soft tissue or any other damage that could have taken place. Obviously, it's very dangerous to get hit by a fastball traveling that fast directly in your face.
Yeah.
Much worse things can happen than just a broken nose as well. But if there is nothing worse to report other than that, hopefully I'm thinking Austin Nola could be ready for the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's literal, just total speculation. I mean, we had some of our hockey buddies, our buddy Christopher and Josh, both big hockey fans yesterday. Both of them are like, why are we not worried? We see hockey players break their nose all the time. They're back on the ice, usually after a shift or two. And I think it's different for every sport, obviously. The one thing I think you would worry about, depending on the severity of the break, it's that, could he get back there with the tape on his nose and the black eyes and catch and frame and block? Yeah, sure. It's that ball that somebody fouls off and rings into the mask. Plus, you got to go up there and hit again.
He's got to go up there and hit.
You got to go up there and hit, which is pretty nerve wracking. And it sucks, man, because he was having such a good spring, and he can get back. He's, like I said, man, catchers are a different breed entirely. Like hockey players are a different breed. To be a catcher at the big league level, to squat for 162 games to do everything like that, and then take a beating, foul tips up under the mask, into the throat, into the insides of your thighs, off your arm, off your hands. Like, those guys are banged up, man, all the time. So he's tough. I said it yesterday. I would be surprised if he wasn't the opening day catcher. Knowing catchers, I feel like he'll be in there.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they have to sit in there and wear those foul tips, especially in Major League Baseball.
God, 197 mile an hour.
Never
fastball.
Even understood. I think it's scary enough to be the pitcher and have to face a line drive every once in a while that's coming back at you. And we've seen guys who have gotten hit, and it can be difficult to get back on the mound after having an experience like that. But when you're a catcher, you're going to get your bell rung probably 2 or 3 times a game.
Yep.
It's inevitable. There's just no way to avoid it based on the position.
You got guys coming through long on the backswing, hitting you in the back of the head. I mean, it's the tools of ignorance for a reason. It's also the best position on the field. If you're really good at it, it's the most fun. You are in every single play, and it's a blast. But I haven't heard one single word. I did text my buddy that works for the team and asked him, how he's looking. Didn't hear back. So maybe it's not something they want out there yet, or maybe he was just very busy.
Possibly, although if it was a day off, maybe it was a day off, and it was like, I'm not working.
Maybe he was playing golf or something.
I'm going to enjoy myself and not return texts.
It's the same person that I think it is. Maybe I'll text him, see if he texts me.
That would be good.
So that'll really spin
if
you
he
out.
texted Paul back and not Woods would be devastated.
Well, I tipped him very well at fantasy camp, so
not well enough.
I guess not well enough. I kind of expect a text back at some point, but we'll see.
All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. So we'll get into yesterday's absolutely epic World Baseball Classic.
Whatever you thought, some baseball.
Whatever you thought of this tournament, take it or leave it before yesterday. How could you not have been enthralled by the game between Mexico and Japan? Really, one of the better baseball games any month of the year, any situation I think I've watched. We'll get into that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Remember college? 5 Hour Energy got you through. The energized feeling you relied on back then still works today. Rediscover 5 Hour Energy. It'll get you through again. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Unbelievable game, but also got a bit of a bone to pick with Team Japan. We'll get to that after checking the traffic out there with Kelly Danick.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, I'm happy to report just a couple of problems on these very wet roadways. So either one of two things is happening. Folks are being extra careful, or a lot of folks decided to work from home today. We do have a crash in the North County, eastbound side of the 78. This is just past Sycamore. Appears to be blocking that right lane. And yeah, just a reminder, westbound lanes still blocked between College and El Camino Real, all due to that road work. Accident has cleared up on the northbound 5 near Manchester, but we still have this vehicle that went off the roadway further north just before Barcelona. That activity over to the right. Northbound 5 before the 52. They're still trying to clear that out of the slow lane. Just continue to take it extra carefully out there, guys. Leave yourself plenty of extra time for travel. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Cracked in the air, deep center field. Thomas on the move. It's off the wall. Ohtani's in to score. Here comes the winning run. Japan turns it around on its last breath.
That was Munetaka Murakami with the walk-off 2-run double in the bottom of the 9th inning, lifting Japan past Mexico 6-5 and into the finals of the World Baseball Classic today, 4 o'clock against Team USA. Capping what was one of the best games of baseball I think you're really ever going to watch. I saw, baseball guys like, who was it? Mike Petriello, like top 3 game I've ever seen.
Oh,
I mean, it was fantastic.
I mean, unquestionably one of the best baseball games I've ever seen. It was incredible.
I think
from the first pitch on, and it had everything that you were looking for.
Yes, that's what made the game last night. And I'm sorry if you missed it, but it had everything. It had great pitching. It had great defense. It had enough offense. It was close. It had drama. It had emotion. The fans were just going crazy. The energy in the ballpark was terrific. I mean, yes, it felt like a playoff game at Petco Park against the Dodgers, yet here we are in March playing for our countries in the World Baseball Classic. There's just no way to say it wasn't that kind of charged atmosphere and that kind of great competition last night. And I thought very high level of baseball as well.
Well, and I think, for many of and I'm not going to sit in here this morning and pretend that I am some longtime scholar of Roki Sasaki. I'm not. I've heard his name before. He was the guy that there was a lot of pub around him a few months back. And I remember tweeting at BOG, Brian O'Grady, who played in Japan, and say, hey, tell me about this guy. And he goes, yeah, I took him deep. And he's like, he also struck me out like 5 times. But yeah, I did get him. I did get him once. He's that next, with the Japanese leagues, every couple of years, there's that guy. And you start hearing about it, and you heard about it back in the day, Hideo Nomo, and then Hideki Matsui, Daisuke Matsuzaka, and on and on and on the list goes of really, really talented baseball players. Ichiro, the list goes on and on. Of course, none bigger, none better than Shohei Ohtani. Roki Sasaki, they told his story last night. Did you guys miss the part where they told the story of his youth?
I did not see that.
I didn't catch that.
There was that vicious tsunami that hit when he was, I think it was about 12, 13 years ago. I think he was like 9 years old or something, and killed his father, killed his grandfather, swept his family away. Just staggeringly devastating. And you watch that kid pitch last night at 21 years old. With so much poise, so fun to watch, electric fastball, ridiculous splitter. Now, even the best ones, man, you're going to hang a splitter, and Luis freaking Urias, of all people, comes up and yaks a 3-run bomb, and you go, oh, wow, this game has turned on its head. You knew Japan was not going to go quietly. You have to tip your hat this morning. If you're an Angels fan, you're feeling pretty good about what you got in Patrick Sandoval. Obviously, you've got Shohei Ohtani, you've got Mike Trout, but man, that guy went out, and for all the attention being on Roki Sasaki last night, Sandoval was incredible. just K-ing guys left and right, getting out of jams. He was outstanding. So you got to be really thrilled.
You know, Sasaki, very first batter of the game, struck out Randy Arozarena with a 102-mile-per-hour fastball, really setting the tone. And yes, he gave up that home run. The key really there, though, was right before were two absolute bleeders of hits to put guys on that made it a 3-run shot that looked almost insurmountable for much of the game. Like, wow, Mexico's going to win this basically on this one swing. They were getting unbelievable plays. Arozarena robbing a home run, warning track catch with the bases loaded, running catch with the bases loaded at the line. You just thought, boy, Japan catch a break in this game. It's Mexico's tournament. It's their chance. They're going to make it to the finals. And then in the 7th inning, they tie it up with a 3-run home run by the new Boston Red Sox, Masataka Yoshida.
He took I think it was a changeup, and it was down at his shoe tops, and he muscled that thing
somehow
out.
Kept it fair.
And I'm telling you, no offense to the camera work, but the way that I had it, I was like, oh, it's foul. It's going to be foul by 40, 50 feet. No, man, it was fair. And they had the angle over like on the crowd in foul territory, and then you see the ball cross, and you're like, oh, my God, that went out. A brand new ball game, just like that. They're going to like that guy in Boston. I really think they're going to like that guy, man. He looks like a professional hitter.
You know, you said you talked about all the good Japanese players who've come over with a lot of hype. And honestly, they've almost all lived up to the hype.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, the first one, Hideki Arabu, did not.
He didn't.
But since Ichiro, pretty much since Hideo Nomo, every Japanese player who's come over has lived up to the hype. There hasn't been one that is just, they said, oh, this guy's been fantastic in Japan, but then completely falls flat. Some have needed some adjustment time and a couple of years to get get going in Major League Baseball, but their skills have translated very well.
Very well. Very, very well. And there's a couple that are still kind of middling and trying to figure it out. But I love their game. I love the way they play. I think that we could all learn a lot from the way that they play the game of baseball. But I was so impressed with Sasaki and his ability to hang in, and giving up that big bomb is brutal for those guys.
But Mexico bounces back. It's 3-3 going to the 8th. They scored twice.
Yep, no problem
to go back in front. So you got the back and forth element of this game. Japan pulls within 1, and then brilliant strategy of having Shohei Ohtani lead off the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, if you can get
that was smart.
If you can get that done, you're a really good manager.
He doubles to lead off the inning.
First pitch, man. First pitch, change up, hanging up in the zone, and he just, for him to be able to sit back, in his mind, Gallegos has a really good change, but in his mind, Ben, what is he thinking? He's going to get ahead here. He's going to throw a fastball. Be ready for the fastball. Bro, he was on the changeup like he was sitting, like he was waiting for it. Laces it into the gap. And you're like, oh, you're dead. You're dead. You knew it right then. You're like, you're not getting out of this. You're not getting out of this. You just could feel the momentum shift.
They didn't even get a single out, and the game was over with the walk-off. You heard the call on FS1, but as we like to do, to get the authentic feel of it, we've also found the Spanish and Japanese language calls. Now, obviously, they're going to be disappointed for Team Mexico with their call, but not a bad one. Usually the Spanish call always is delightful. Here's how it sounded. The walk-off loss for Mexico on the double by Munetaka Murakami in the bottom of the ninth.
Batazo sólido al jardín central. La pelota recoge Candela y va contra el muro. Doble Ohtani, semáforo luz verde, siga para el pentágono, anota. Y Japón nos dejó en el terreno, se acabó. Se acabó la historia para México en el Clásico Mundial de Béisbol. Desafortunadamente, no salió bien Giovanni Gallegos como contra Puerto Rico. Y Japón festeja.
All right, I heard, unfortunately, in World Baseball Classic in there, and obviously some disappointment for Team Mexico after such a great tournament to have it come crashing down there just in one swing of the bat at the end. Tough way to go. That's why
played their asses.
That's why they play 7-game series, at the end in Major League Baseball. It's a rough way to go out in a one game, but boy, is it exciting.
They played their absolute asses off. Team Mexico did. I mean, so much.
They didn't have as much talent as some of the other teams. Arozarena was fantastic.
He's incredible. Incredible. We'll get to Randy and more, but we have to play the Japanese call that was electric. It's sayonara in the background, dude. Come on.
There's one part of that when you can hear, I think it's the color commentator, and he's just laughing. He's so happy.
Sounds like Japanese mud grants
So good, man.
in the background.
So then it's a perfect segue into Joe Davis and John Smoltz. People will hear this and say, Woodsy, come on. You don't like Joe Davis because he's the Dodgers announcer. My friends, I am fair and impartial as it pertains to that whole scene.
One more time. Here's Joe Davis.
Cracked in the air. Deep center field.
This call was fine. That call was okay. I mean, that's a huge moment. The rest of the game, though, is like snorting an Ambien. The crushing up an Ambien with a mortar and pestle and then right up your nose. Smoltz also. Maybe it's the combo of the two. Maybe they need somebody with a little more color for Joe Davis.
Now, some people had the same complaints about Joe Buck. We liked Joe Buck. We had him on the show, but
I loved him.
He was very understated.
So that I was gonna bring up Joe Buck for a reason, because I'm not the guy that's gonna get on in the morning and go, that announcer sucks, that announcer sucks, that announcer sucks. I like a lot of them. I like a lot that people don't. I love John Miller. I mean, somebody was mad at us the other day for talking about how great John Miller was. John Miller was amazing. I didn't even mind Joe Morgan, okay, back in the day. This has nothing to do with the Dodgers. This has to do with the most boring vanilla guy in the world getting the biggest games in the world. Also, pairing him with a guy that was such a good pitcher, and actually a pretty fun guy. We've had John Smoltz on. He was great. Was fantastic on our show. He gets on the mic and he's like, he sounded like he would have rather been anywhere else in the world. Yeah, that's just what you get, when you throw a slider in a count like that. That's what'll happen. And then he always does like the little jab. So Rosarena goes back. He makes that brilliant play, and then he stands there. He doesn't do anything.
Stare down.
He doesn't jump. He doesn't dance. He doesn't shimmy. He doesn't do a damn thing. What does John Smoltz say? Did you guys catch it? Well, and now he's going to grandstand. And I'm like, I'm turning the table over at my house. I'm like, grandstand? Bro, stop. Stop getting these guys in there that literally hate the way that other countries play baseball. And when you get all of those best players from other countries and they all come into Major League Baseball, that bleeds over into his Major League Baseball broadcasts, right? I understand that in 1993, they didn't do it that way. It's not 1993 anymore. He didn't grandstand anything. He literally, he grandstood. He just stood there like this, motionless. He was not doing the Dumb and Dumber dance. He wasn't spinning, grabbing his junk. Like, he didn't grandstand. It was an amazing catch in a huge moment of the game. Get people who like baseball to call baseball games. Well, it's not hard.
Even when Randy Arozarena got colorful, and he got colorful during the tournament, the interactions with the fans, the big love, signing autographs, in between innings. How can you say
in between outs?
In between outs. How can you say anything but this is great for the game? This is entertaining. He's fun. He's giving the fans a show. What is baseball? It's entertainment, and he is entertaining. He's an entertaining baseball player. He'd be a reason that I'd want to buy tickets to see the Tampa Bay Rays, to go watch him play baseball.
Do you feel worse for anybody else in the world than Randy Arozarena right now? Because not only did he play his tail off and help lead his team to, going that far in the tournament in front of 35,000 screaming fans, now he gets to go back to 1,400 fans at the Trop for opening day for his team, which, by the way, they've got good players. They've got a good manager. There's no reason that Tampa shouldn't file into the Trop and watch guys like Randy Arozarena and Wander Franco and on down the list of really good players managed by a really good manager. It's embarrassing. And that guy, that's the most crowded That's the most fans he'll see this season, more than likely.
So I said had one bone to pick, though, with Team Japan. And everyone after the game pretty much speculating. Of course, Shohei Ohtani said, I'm available in relief if they need me tomorrow. I'm going to focus on hitting first, but, I may come into the game. So everyone goes, so Yu Darvish going to be the starter for this last game. And then very late last night, it was reported that it will not be Yu Darvish. I don't even have the name do you have the name of the guy who's going to be starting for Japan? So maybe Yu Darvish comes in relief. Maybe he doesn't pitch at all. Why has Yu Darvish, he came in relief his last outing, 2 innings 5 days ago. And now we don't know how much or if he'll be used today.
Shota Imanaga.
The one of the things that, I was okay with Yu Darvish spending the entire spring training. Remember, he hasn't spent a day spring training with the Padres knowing, well, I'm sure Japan's going to make a deep run and they're going to rely on him. So he's going to get a lot of good work to get ready for the season. He just hasn't. They haven't used him very much. What does he have total? 5 total innings. So essentially his spring training has been 5 innings. There's no way he's ready for the season. There's just no way, even with his experience, that he can be ready to go on opening day for the Padres when the bell rings. Am I exaggerating that? Do you feel like Yu Darvish, would you ever expect him to say, all right, I'm ready to go seven innings on opening day?
I feel like if there's anybody that I'm confident in, it's Yu Darvish, because I got to imagine, and I know Bob Melvin's, I know he's upset about it. He mentioned it last Friday, basically saying, yeah, I'm a little bit peeved at how they've used him and only 5 innings, and he's probably not going to be ready. I'm gonna trust you that Yu's ready to go. Are you going to run him out there for 7 opening day just because he's been pitching down in the Cactus League? I don't know. I feel like if there's one guy that's going to be prepared, it's going to be you. But we'll see. He may not get the start now.
I want to continue this discussion. We'll also play some Take on Woods when we come back. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Did you see our little baby over there is all grown up, Benny? Little Paulie over there?
He's all grown up.
Yeah, DePaul. Our producer, DePaul Reindl.
What happened? But he looks normal. He looks the same to me.
We just got a tweet from Barrett Sports Media, and it says, who makes Ben and Woods sound great each morning on 97.3 The Fan SD? It's Paul Reindl, SD. He joins WDEV Radio Brady on the Producers Podcast. So he was in there spilling the tea about us yesterday.
Oh, spilled it all.
But they used a picture of Jake Cronenworth, which, by the way, fantastic.
I mean, I took the picture. Maybe
You took
he
that
didn't
picture.
ask me about my photography skills in the podcast, but
Who can I get to replace me in our pictures? Somebody different.
Big Ed.
It has to be a
God
Padre.
dang it, I will slit your throat.
Which Padre would you be if you were replaced by a Padre?
You know what?
This is good.
in a picture.
Maybe tomorrow we get Big Ed in studio and we just put you guys side by side. He lives in San Diego. I'm sure he would. I'm sure
I know he does.
I'm sure he's got
I know
literally
he does.
nothing going
What else
on.
is he doing? What else is he doing? If I walked in here and he was here, I'm leaving. You do the show with Big No Neck Ed.
Big Paul and Big Ed.
Big Paul and Big Ed. What Padre would represent you?
I am looking through the list, just looking at all the faces to see which one feels like it's the most Ben. I would say that
Luis Castillo.
I'm Manny Machado. We're about the same height, similar skin tone. Do you disagree with my assessment?
What?
No.
You're on record. The Padre you most resemble is
Manny Machado. Neck up, maybe. Yeah.
No.
No.
You don't think so?
What is wrong with you?
What is
are
wrong
you
with
are
you?
you drunk?
Well, tell me who you have that is much more representative of me.
Jose Lopez.
That's not very nice.
It's fine. It's almost identical. I'm a big Brandon Dixon guy over here. Who do I look most like, Benjamin?
Let's see. Woods.
With the
You
stash, I could have pulled off Matt Carpenter, but I shaved the stash.
Let's see. I would say Woods is
Brandon Dixon, just kind of a guy.
that's not a bad call.
It's pretty close. Paulie could go for Brandon Dixon as well.
Maybe a little Brett Sullivan, possibly.
Let's see. I'd say Paulie's Brett Sullivan.
Okay.
And I'm Brandon Dixon.
All right.
And you're
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado, he says. That's who he looks the most like.
I don't think it's. I mean, I think that's fairly accurate. Yes. You disagree with my
I
assessment.
think we all do.
Hey, you put that bucket hat on, you look just like Fernando.
Yeah. Just like him. Just like him.
You wear flip-flops. Hey, it's Joe Musgrove, everybody.
I am flabbergasted at this point. Benny Machado.
Benny Machado.
Okay. All right. I can get behind it.
So
guess.
I
Tells
understand
me a lot about you.
It
that
does.
You think.
It
we,
does.
we need a contestant for Take on Woods. Move on here. 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for a getaway to Las Vegas. Our musical trivia game is 5 minutes away. Call now. Get in line. 833-288-0973. I appreciate your trust and faith in Yu Darvish and his ability to get ready for the season. But it's not like he's had experience getting ready for a season. I don't. This is the first time he's been in the World Baseball Classic, I believe, isn't it?
He won the game for that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
He hadn't pitched in Japan though. He hadn't gone away from his spring training. He's never done a spring training without his team to get ready for the season. Now, was he told? Maybe he was told by the coaches for Japan, "Hey, we're not going to use you very much, so you should probably be throwing a lot on the side." Do you trust that the coaches have been completely forthcoming with Yu Darvish and saying, "Hey, we love you, but we're probably going to throw you a couple of innings this month, so you better be, throwing a lot on the side and ramping up and getting ready for the season the way you think you should."
I think I just trust him to be ready. to do what's right for the team. I do.
But you have to have the right information to get ready. You have to know, part of getting ready is knowing, okay, what days I'm throwing, how hard I'm going to be throwing. And if he hasn't been given that information correctly.
But the word is he's piggybacking off this guy tonight. So he could go 5.
It's possible,
5
yes.
or 6. I mean,
but he didn't last time. He only went 2 last time.
Yeah, that's true. Again, we're almost going to have to wait and see with it and see how comfortable they feel. I feel like he's a guy that's going to be prepared. If Bob Melvin calls on him next Thursday, then I feel like he'll be ready to give you what you need. And then I feel like if they need to push him a couple days, I feel like he'll be ready then. I don't know that Darvish getting a Cactus League start under his belt is paramount for his success in 2023. I just don't. There's other ways that a veteran like Darvish knows how to get ready. And again, going down to the Cactus League and throwing to number 89 and then number 94 with no name on the back, does that mean he's locked in? I don't know. I doubt it very much, but he's a guy I trust almost implicitly to be ready if his number's called on opening day. I just don't really have any concern about it. I think if he goes tonight, which sounds like he's going to, I think they're going to try to stretch him as much as they can get out of him. And then, if you go this guy, the hell's the starter again? I just said it.
You did, but I'm never going to remember it.
Imanga. Shota Imanaga. If he goes 2 innings and then you get Darvish for 5, Shohei Ohtani comes in to close it down. I mean, that's probably some semblance of their plan tonight because I don't think this guy's going very long. But man, I just don't worry about Darvish that much. I just don't. He has delivered so many times for this team. And the dude is always ready to go. I never worry about a lack of preparation,
but
lack of arm being stretched
I'm
out.
also going to be worried if I'm Ruben Niebla and Bob Melvin, how much can I really push him? He'll say he's ready, but do I worry about, okay, yeah, he's thrown great. He threw 5 great innings on opening day. Should I send him out for a 6th, or is he going to be under a pretty tight pitch limit to start the season?
Yeah.
Because I don't really know, how built up and how ready he is to go.
Which is fair.
But the Padres are going to have other guys. I mean, Joe Musgrove's already out. You're probably going to have to, piggyback a little bit with Seth Lugo. I mean, I don't know how far he's going to be able to go. You're going to be taxing your bullpen a lot, potentially in the first couple of weeks of the season.
It's not a good way to start the season. It's not. Let's be honest. It's not a good way to start the season with guys that aren't ready to give you length. Early in the season, they've got a couple of long relievers that are going to eat some of those innings, Ben. So I think, eventually we'll be okay and it will all kind of even out as it usually does. But yeah, somebody did DM and said, you look like Bob Melvin. And I think that's right.
Bob Melvin.
Yes.
You know what? I don't hate that, actually.
Stuart says I look like Ryan Weathers.
What? I wouldn't have picked that one.
Nor would I.
I think if it was up to me right now and I had to pick an opening day starter for the Padres, I might lean with Nick Martinez. I love the fact that he threw in the World Baseball Classic, but then said, you know what? I need to come back and get more work with the Padres. He's looked good the entire time he's been out there. He's throwing hard. He's been throwing with some intensity and some competitive fire here in the month of March. I'm going to throw a guy out there on a big stage right now. If it can't have Joe Musgrove, and I don't know that it's going to line up for Darvish. Remember, if does pitch 5 innings tonight,
yep,
you could not pitch him again until opening day.
Right.
So that would be
a week off.
That would be an entire week off. I don't know if that's the best thing. You probably want him to throw in like 5 days, but then he'll be out of sequence and you'll need to wait until like the 2nd or 3rd game of the season to start it, which is fine by me.
I say trust that he's a professional, like the definition of professional. Let him throw his innings tonight. And then get him home, get him acclimated again, get him rested, and then have him throw a little bit. I mean, which is fine. Then he probably can't throw on opening day.
Why? If you need him to throw with some intensity in 5 days, that would be.
It doesn't necessarily have to be with some intensity. Well, it can be. I'm getting ready for my opening day start. I have an extra day. Of rest.
I mean, if all he needs is a throw day, like in between starts with a long rest, I guess that could work.
He has not shown me anything. He has shown me nothing ever to let me think that he's not ready to take the ball when asked. Ever. Never. Like the guys have a track record for a reason. that's his track record. Dependable, reliable, goes out and gives you everything he's got every start.
But he's always done that, having gone through a full spring training and, been a very regimented way that he is prepared for the season, which has been impossible the way he's been used in the World Baseball Classic.
It's weird because most people are like, I don't want my pitchers to throw a ton, and we're wanting Darvish to make sure that he's ramped up and ready for the season. I have 100% confidence if he gets the ball opening day, he's got 6 innings in him. I really believe it. Really
All right, let's continue this discussion in a little while. Right now, let's get to today's game of Take on Woods. All right, Jason is going to be our contestant today, trying to qualify for our getaway to Las Vegas, plus tickets to see 38 Special, still a fan favorite after more than 4 decades. They'll be live in concert on April 28th in the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Beat or tie Woods, you'll qualify for the trip, 2 tickets to the show, and a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas. Jason, good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, so Woods has left the studio. Good. What's up? What's going on with you?
Enjoying the rain.
Yeah, of course. All right, be careful out there. All right, Woods has left the studio, so he doesn't hear this part. Your advantage is picking our category today for our 5 questions. Here are your choices. Got that mystery category sitting there. The 2-word or the 2-song second song will determine everything in that category. We've got Angels Among Us, all answers including the word angel. And our new category, high-low, 5 song titles with either the word high or the word low included. So, mystery category, Angels Among Us or high-low, Jason?
Let's go high-low.
High-low. All right. Today's Take on Woods has 5 song titles, again, either including the word high or the word low. You'll get 60 seconds to try to answer as many of the 5. If you don't know an answer, just say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. And the first song title, including high or low, will be our 2-second song. Paulie will play a short clip. You need to give me the title and the artist to score that point. So, Jason, are you ready to play?
I am.
Paul, are you ready? All right,
Ready.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music, the category high-low. Good luck, Jason. Let's take on Woods.
Blondie, high tide.
Not quite. Close. Which 1975 song by War celebrates hydraulically modified hot rods?
Low ride.
Correct. Canadian singer-songwriter Tal Bachman is best known for which 1999 hit?
Pass.
Garth Brooks was still a relatively unknown artist when he was given the opportunity to record which country bar sing-along sensation in 1990?
Friends in Low Places.
Correct. Which 1987 Steve Winwood hit with a 6-word title features James Taylor on backup vocals?
Oh God. Pass.
Canadian singer-songwriter Tal Bachman is best known for which 1999 hit? Oh, so close on the 2-second song. It's The Tide is High by Blondie, not High Tide. I don't know I can give you that one. You did get Lowrider, and you got Friends in Low Places for 2 points. Tal Bachman sings She's So High. And Steve Winwood, the one that I know was on the tip of your tongue, is back in the high life again. So 2 out of 5. We'll see how that holds up against Woods. Stay on the line there, Jason. Woods coming back in the studio. He won't get the category, and it'll be a tougher one, for reasons for Woods to figure out. So here we go. 60 seconds back on the clock.
Very cloak and dagger in here.
I know. I don't want to give away too much always. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Jason.
Pass.
Which 1975 song by War celebrates hydraulically modified hot rods?
Lowrider.
Correct. Canadian singer-songwriter Tal Bachman is best known for which 1999 hit?
She's So High.
Correct. Garth Brooks was still a relatively unknown artist when he was given the
Friends
opportunity.
in Low Places.
Correct. Which 1987 Steve Winwood hit with a 6-word
Higher
title?
Love. Bring Me a Higher Love.
No. Go back to our 2-second song.
not the kind of girl.
You can sing it. Who is it? Do you know that one?
No, I don't. Is that it?
That's it. That's all
3?
you've got left. You got 3.
Is that Steve Winwood?
It is Steve Winwood.
It's going to
yeah.
make me crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Does it not bring me a higher love?
No.
It's low, high. Something.
It is low and high. You got the category. It's
You got
high,
it.
low is the category. So the Steve Winwood song that you couldn't quite get is Back in the High Life Again.
Terrible song, but yeah, okay.
And
He
then
also had Higher Love.
It did, didn't he? The 6-word title is the difference there. And then the song was The Tide is High by Blondie.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
you did win 3-2.
I did not know that was Blondie.
Over Jason. It doesn't sound like it sounds more like a reggae song, obviously.
I know that song. I knew it was Blondie. I heard Delight in my head, and I couldn't get Delight out of my head, and I couldn't figure out how Delight matched up with High and
the
Low.
one with the slide piece.
Yep.
What's that song called? Groove is in the Heart.
Groove is in the Heart.
By Delight.
It's a great song. Damn it, man.
All right, you won. No, you won 3-2.
Oof.
The 3 was all you needed, so you did
That was tough.
sneak out the victory over Jason. Yeah, moderate
Golf
applause
clap for that
for
one.
Woods.
That's fine.
Okay.
Dub's a dub.
All right, let's get to Don't Do This coming up next. I got a college basketball player that I feel has a bad attitude in my sights.
Got a college football player that's in some deep doo-doo.
All right, we'll get to those coming up next. We'll check traffic, then be back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, tomorrow is the day that you might have been waiting for like nearly a year and a half. Your chance to sign up for the Ben and Woods Open, our second ever golf tournament, will be taking place Thursday, April 6th at Rancho Bernardo Inn. But our slots go on sale tomorrow. You'll be looking for the link. We'll give you the final details in the morning. So listen to Ben and Woods. Make sure you get in quickly. They went fast last time. We got some great sponsors this time out, including Virgin Beer. Love my Virgin. Bushmills Irish Whiskey. But you sign up tomorrow for the Ben and Woods Open when the link goes live.
Can we tell them the time?
Yes.
10 a.m.
10 a.m., right at the end of our program.
10 a.m., guys. Set your alarms. Do whatever you have to do. Get ready. Tomorrow at 10, it's on. Thing sold out in 30 seconds last time we did it. We have more slots this time, but it's going to sell out.
And
And
a little
then,
over 24 hours. If you got a group of buddies, if somebody's
all together.
throwing all the money down for the foursome,
Get
get
it
it together
together.
today.
Yep.
So if
10
you,
a.m. tomorrow.
if you do have trouble getting in at 10 and have any problems, go ahead, call the coach, John Quintera,
On
and
the
he
air.
will take your
Your
calls
complaint
about
call.
the Ben and Woods Open.
This was
Yes.
originally I thought maybe I wanted it at 9, but this is very smart business on our behalf. Ben has blessed the mood as well, and we found out this morning you will be in attendance the night before the informal.
I am now off. I have gotten it off of television, so I can.
Joe in San
be
Diego,
there.
thanks for hanging in there, my friend. Welcome to 97.3
Joe, you wanna be in the
The Fan.
Ben
How
Woods
are you
Open?
today?
Okay, how are you?
Good. Do you want to play
I'm
golf?
doing
play some
well. You want
golf?
to come out and get blood today, Joe?
Okay, how are you?
Right. It's
Yeah.
on sale.
I'm doing great.
Hello. Okay, how are
We're
you?
doing good. We just want to get a lot of people out at Rancho Bernardo. And so the night before, we're going to be doing a little informal gathering. Ben's buying drinks for everyone.
Informal, INN, a little informal gathering.
Informal
Welcome.
gathering.
You're welcome.
And Ben's buying drinks for everybody. It's going to be
No,
a really
no,
good
no.
time.
No.
Really good time. Irish car bombs, the whole thing.
He said appetizers
With
too,
Bushmills
but no,
Irish
no,
whiskey?
no
Yeah.
entrees, just appetizers.
Just appetizers only.
It's very
Yeah.
nice of you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
very nice of you and Adam to front that for everyone. I will get us
Don't do this, Woods.
I will get
Don't
us
do this.
started on Don't Do This. You told this story the other day, Ben, about the Alabama 5-star freshman defensive back Tony Mitchell. He was arrested and detained by the police. New details have come out. Ben, they found him with $7,000 in cash, 226 grams of Mary Jane.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot of dope, as well as a loaded gun in the car, which was a black Dodge Challenger. Now, new information came out. He was evading police at 141 miles an hour.
Wow.
As he ran from the police. Again, he was stopped. They did catch him eventually. Nick Saban has dropped the hammer.
Tony Mitchell has been suspended from the team on all team activities until we gather more information about the situation and what his legal circumstance is. And, guys, everybody's got an opportunity to make choices and decisions. There's no such thing in being at the wrong place at the wrong time. You got to be responsible for who you're with, who you're around, and what you do, who you associate yourself with, and the situations that you put yourself in. So it is what it is, but there is, cause and effect when you make, choices and decisions that put you in bad situations. So
Nick Saban's very clear. If you're running from the police, keep it under 140.
Yes.
You go over 140,
You're in trouble.
you're suspended. 138, we can work with that.
He's-
But over 140, you're in trouble.
He'll probably miss the first series against whatever cookie that they open with. I would imagine.
It's not baseball. They don't play series. They just play games.
No. The first series.
Oh, the first series of the first game?
He just tried to Ben-splain to me football. A series, Ben, in football is like, let's say you're on offense. That's called the first series.
I guess I couldn't even imagine
look
that he
at
won't
him.
be suspended for multiple games. All right,
five-star recruit. Buddy.
So I saw this story a few weeks ago. I don't know if you heard about the kid, Antoine Davis, college basketball player for Detroit Mercy, and you felt a little bad for him. He ended up 4 points shy of breaking Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record in his final game. They were in the Horizon tournament, but they lost, and he didn't quite get there. He needed like 26 or something in the last game, didn't get there. And they were eliminated from the tournament. So there was a chance, even though the team went 14-19, that maybe they'd get invited to one of those lesser, not the NIT, but like the CBI or one of those other postseason college tournaments, essentially just to give Antoine Davis a chance to break the record and play one more game. Well, Detroit Mercy didn't get invited. And Davis came out yesterday in an interview and he said, "I'm upset about it. I feel like I got cheated out of something that they can't ever give back to me. I think it's selfish and weird that people emailed or called the CBI to say we shouldn't be in the tournament because they didn't want me to break the record."
What was their record?
14-19.
Buddy.
You just did the team didn't earn it, and you didn't get there. I mean, there's records are records, and people can come close to a record and not break it. It's not a bad thing. There's no entitlement to breaking a record. And I understand why there were some fans of Pistol Pete Maravich who said, don't give this guy an opportunity that otherwise he wouldn't have been afforded just so he can go out and break the record.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean,
who was it? Was it the UConn women's basketball player who hurt her ankle and they let her come back out and make one layup to break the scoring record? That was a tough one too for me. You know, it's unfortunate. It's sad, but part of establishing and breaking a record is staying healthy, staying on the court, having enough games to be able to do it. It's all part of it.
Getting the chance to play in that tournament, you could have earned that with more wins.
Right.
And you didn't get them. And great career, man. Great career. You're going to be fine. This is a quick do this.
DD mega do.
But I was very impressed, and I think a lot of people were, with the management of Mexico manager Benji Gil. Right? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's definitely how Bob Scanlon would say it.
Benji Gil.
I mean, everyone knows him as Benji Gil.
Benji Gil.
Well, longtime major leaguer, Texas Rangers, Anaheim Angels.
Kind of grew up watching Benji
Castle
Gil.
Park High School.
Yeah, I kind of grew up watching him play shortstop out at Arlington Stadium back in the day, and I always liked him, man. He always looked to me. You know what he looked like to me? Guy looked like a baseball player. I saw him and I went, God, he looks like a baseball player.
He was a great pitcher in high school as well.
I bet. I mean, he knows the game in and out. And I loved his comments last night after the game. Tough, devastating, brutal loss. You feel like you had that game wrapped up. And, a couple things that he said that I really enjoyed were, I think everyone can agree he's awesome for baseball, talking about Randy Arozarena. But also he said, we lost, but we weren't defeated. Baseball in Mexico won. I'm happy to know we're now considered among the best in the world. And then the big one that I saw last night, he said, essentially, yeah, we lost, but baseball won. If you're a fan of baseball, you can't be mad. That game was legendarily epic in from first pitch to last pitch. Not the result we're looking for, but was very proud of his team. A lot of pride. Those players had as well, coming out and waving to the crowd. It was really a special moment in a very tough moment.
A lot of people impressed with Benji Gil. He was very successful managing in the Mexican leagues. That's how he got to be the national team manager, both for the Olympics and the World Baseball Classic. But he's got dreams of getting a shot in the big leagues as a manager someday. He's the infield coach now for the Angels. So
boy, this certainly doesn't hurt his chances.
No, not at all.
No kidding.
I mean, if I'm Phil Nevin, I'm like, oh no. I'm looking over my shoulder a little bit.
And that's don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Padres were off yesterday. They will return tonight, a game you can hear here on 97.3 The Fan. We are now less than a week away from the end of spring training. I want to talk about what questions are left to answer in this final week of the season and how much closer we've gotten to actually answering some of those spring training questions for the Padres.
It's a good question, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to read Kevin Acey's article last night.
I did,
and it's he was getting accused of being a little doom and gloom. I don't think so. I don't think it's anything we haven't been talking about.
We talked about it
few
yesterday.
weeks. Yeah, I mean, this
when
is.
I said, hey, even a great chance to win the World Series is only about 20%.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, I think it's very legitimate that it's a topic that needs to be brought up here before the start of a season with a ton of promise, but nothing guaranteed in Major League Baseball. So we'll talk about that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by your local San Diego County, the UPS store. Your local San Diego County, the UPS store locations are hosting a shred event from March 20th through March 25th. 50% of shredding services off. 50% off shredding services. Visit theupsstore.com for the location nearest you. See store for details. All right, so we started spring training over a month ago now with a few questions to answer. Not like a million questions. Obviously, most of these roster spots are filled for the San Diego Padres.
Might you say, as a diehard, lifelong Padres fan, fewer questions than ever before?
Maybe that could be true.
The number one season as far as fewest questions going into the season.
I think that's
fair.
That's a fair statement. But there still were questions.
Yes.
And guess what? Here we are.
No team, by the way, has no questions. There's not one team in baseball that goes, yeah, 26 for 26. We're good.
And here we are 9 days away from spring training. I'm not sure any of the questions have been answered. Maybe in Bob Melvin's mind, a couple of them have, but certainly hasn't communicated that to us as fans, what the answers are to some of the questions we had at the start of spring training.
Okay.
So we'll discuss some of those lingering questions after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, apologies in advance if I don't mention your freeway, but suffice it to say, you're going to find accidents on just about all of them. Two-car collision on southbound 15 past Friars Road to the center divide. Also, South 805 before University. Got a collision involving a couple vehicles. One's over the right shoulder, one in the center divide. Sucks to be this person. Stalled car northbound side of the 5 before the 163. That's got the right lane blocked. Also collision on westbound 52 past Convoy. It's those transition ramps where you really got to watch it when the roads are slick, guys. Too late for this person. Northbound side of the 15, right the westbound 78. Got a solo spin out over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Dude, you just pointed it out. You heard Kelly's traffic, and Woods goes, look outside. That is as nasty as it gets.
That's about as nasty as I've ever seen it.
It is coming down here at our Odyssey headquarters. You got a good view from the 6th floor. But
yeah, you can just see traffic. I'm so sorry.
Gonna be bad.
Your cars.
Please be careful out there.
We're here for you.
Listen, saw a nasty accident driving in. Just please be careful out there.
Help us answer some of these Padres questions. I think one of the big questions at the start of spring training was who is going to be the starting right fielder on opening day with Fernando Tatis Jr. still under suspension. Someone's going to be out there. Someone's going to be in that first starting lineup with everybody else. And, there for the first at least 3 weeks of the season primarily. And I don't know that Bob Melvin certainly hasn't told us who it is. If you had to guess, Woods, based on what you've seen this spring, who do you expect to be out there on opening day against the Rockies?
I'm probably going to go with Azúcar.
Okay.
Yeah. Dahl's cooled a little bit. Doesn't mean he won't make the roster. Doesn't mean he's not deserving of making the roster. But probably Azúcar.
I would have said that definitely a week ago. Now that Adam Engel's back, it's, he's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Is he back?
Yeah, he's been playing in spring training games.
I have no idea.
I think there's a more than decent chance it could be Adam Engel as the starter. He was the one who was signed in the offseason to an actual major league deal. There's something that the Padres like about Adam Engel.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And if he's healthy, I'm fine with it. Absolutely fine with it. I think Sugar Azúcar has really played himself onto this baseball team.
I agree with that.
He really has.
And
he may be one of those victims of options.
One of those other questions is bench pieces. And if you've got Engel and Azúcar, that would leave one other spot for a bench piece for the San Diego Padres. Could it be Brandon Dixon? Will it be David Dahl? Could it be Rougned Odor? Did Tim Lopes do enough this spring to earn that final roster spot for the Padres?
Is it another catcher? Is it Brett Sullivan and Campusano and Nola? Or is it 3 catchers? Because that'll eat up a spot as well for a guy that's not going to get a lot of love. Unless, if Nola starts the season on the IL, which we talked about it earlier. I don't think it's going to happen, but anything's possible. If he starts the season on the IL, it helps a little bit. Then you get 2 catchers. You get, and there's another one too. Who am I missing?
Severino, I think
yeah.
would be the third guy possibly.
Yeah. So Brett Sullivan would probably be the third. Severino would be the second, and Campusano would be your starter. But that eats up a roster spot as well. It's tight, but it's everything you ask for. It's everything you dream of when you're putting together a team. To have basically 2 spots that 10 guys are fighting for means you got a really good team.
One question that I think has been somewhat answered by circumstance with the injury to Joe Musgrove is whether the Padres would start the season with a 5 or 6 man rotation. It seems clear now that at least until Joe's back, it's just going to be the 5 man. And then when Joe comes back, it may just transition to a 6 man rotation with Joe there. But, they may need some extra long relief help to start the year, but I don't know that I expect Jay Groom or Julio Teheran or Ryan Weathers to just jump right into the starting rotation to begin the season. It's going to be Darvish, Snell, Martinez, Lugo, and Waka.
Yep.
And then Joe Musgrove will join that quintet to make it a 6-some, hopefully within the first 2 weeks of the season, maybe just one turn through the rotation, and then it'll become a 6-man rotation. So essentially, the rest of those guys are pretty much making the case for long relief options, which the Padres will need.
Absolutely.
As we talked about earlier, they will need fairly badly for the first couple of weeks of the season. So that question remains. Who is that guy, or maybe 2 guys to fill out the back end of the bullpen?
Jay Groom and Nabil Crismat are your long men. For me, I mean, we're just playing fantasy baseball.
Now, if Drew Pomeranz isn't ready,
I do have my junior.
That's
GM
fine.
T-shirt.
You're playing it right now.
I'm playing it right now.
Now, it seems like the whispers that I've heard that they don't think Drew Pomeranz is going to be quite ready for the start of the season. That could open up one more spot, maybe for a Julio Teheran
or a Ryan Weathers,
possibly. But Teheran had one kind of iffy outing, but bounced back in his last start and has thrown really well. He may not be here the entire year, but I don't know that I'm ready to just give him the opportunity to go to another team and sign right away when you might want him in your bullpen at this point and have that option to make him a swing starter, because you're going to need more than 6 starters over the course of the year.
Yeah, you're going to need.
I mean, even
12.
on a healthy year, you're going to need at least
9, 10,
8,
11.
9, or 10. Yeah. And I don't know that I want to let Julio Teheran get out of this organization at this moment. Jay Groom will definitely be one of them. I mean, if he stays healthy, he will make some starts for the Padres this year.
Agreed.
That would be a 7th guy. I think Nabil Crismat will probably make a couple of spot starts here or there. He'd be an 8th guy.
Do anything for you?
Not really. And, Brent Honeywell showed some flashes, but he struggled lately in spring training. Ryan Weathers is definitely more intriguing than he was last year. But I don't think he's past Julio Teheran. So if you're talking 9 starters, I think Julio Teheran is one of those guys right now, which means you're going to have to find a place for him on the roster, because you don't want to have to give him up on opening day. His contract states if he doesn't make the opening day Major League 26-man roster, he can opt out and go to another club.
Yeah, he's got to be what's the 40-man situation? That's the other thing, you need to look at, because if I'm not mistaken, Julio Teheran's not on the 40-man. So you got to make room for him on the 40-man, which means, Benjamin, that you have to make room and somebody's got to go from the 40-man. So how does that work exactly? If that's kind
good
of a
question.
That's kind of a
I mean, could a Jose Castillo or an Adrian Morejon be headed to the 60-day injured list? The
reports on Morejon were
decent,
not as bad as we originally thought. You can't even find the 40-man on the website right now.
Really? Is it gone?
It's usually on there.
Conspiracy theory.
Roster, coaches, Padres medical staff, front office, broadcasters, top 30 prospects. That's weird.
Check out broadcasters. See, that's not going to help you. Where is the?
I got it.
You got it? Is it on the website?
Yeah. You go to roster, and then there's tabs.
I got the tabs.
Depth chart, 40-man.
I don't
mine doesn't have that. I got the same as Woods.
We got shadow banned. Padres don't want us sniffing around what they're doing.
Google Padres 40-man roster. It's the first MLB.com link.
Are you on MLB.com or are you on Padres.com?
I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, if you Google straight to it, it is there. It still exists on the internet somewhere.
Freaking boomers, man.
Seriously.
God.
It's ridiculous. Padres 40 man.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of guys that you're going to want to drop off of that 40-man roster right now. So unless someone is hurt and is going to go to the 60-day, bringing up guys like Tehran, who are not currently on the 40-man, could be a bit problematic for AJ Priller.
Yeah, I mean, there's some decisions to make. You feel really good about 22, 23 roster spots, maybe less when you're talking about the pitching and everything else. You feel pretty good. What's the number? 20, 21 out of 26. You feel locked in, ready to go. Having 5, variables in there as far as pitching goes, an extra catcher, an extra infielder. I think you're okay. A guy like Rugi Odor. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we have enough. In the infield. Because Carpenter can play some infield too. He can spell Manny. He can also spell at first base. Like,
Jake can go anywhere.
Like, I think we're fine in the infield. The outfield's where I think the guys are going to make the team. And then obviously that extra catching position, if you need it, is there as well. But yeah, you're going to need a couple of guys in the pen that are going to fill that out, and you'll have your 26-man roster. But there are going to be some hurt feelings, and there are going to be some guys that go, dude, I played well enough to make this team. I'm either going back down to the minors, or I'm going to go be a free agent and sign with another team. And I bet you a couple of those guys will get a shot somewhere else too.
And then the last question for me, maybe you had a few others, but we, talking about it with Bob Melvin as far back as first week of spring training when we were out in Peoria, is how is he going to stack his lineup, especially the top 4? It feels as though when Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back, the way we've seen him in spring training, he's been leading off a lot. And then it's been Juan Soto, then Manny Machado, then Xander Bogaerts. Do you feel like that's kind of what Bob Melvin's leaning toward? Now, he told us, hey, depending on matchups, lefty, righty, we may switch it up because we don't want to give the other team the opportunity to send in a lefty to face 2 lefties out of the bullpen, 2 out of 3. And if we can avoid that, they're going to try to do that. But for an everyday kind of, if there is such a thing anymore as an everyday lineup, and
by the way, there's not.
We see teams that have 159 different lineups in a 162 game season now,
and that's okay, guys. Just for the record.
But if there is such a thing, will it be Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogaerts, Cronenworth, then Cruz, Carpenter, 6 in the 6th spot?
I'm not saying this to be flip.
Nola Grisham.
I'm really
Nola Kim Grisham.
I'm not saying this to be flip. I couldn't care less. I could not care less. I love the personnel, and wherever they decide to slot said personnel, I'm on board, because it's one of those situations where I go, how do you make the wrong move? There's really, unless you do something completely goofy, like just against everything else, I don't care. I don't care where these guys hit. I don't care where me, junior GM with the shirt, I don't care where I think what I would do and where I think they should slot in.
Get your shirt at our merch store right
now. Get your shirt at our merch store, Junior.
Link in bio.
Junior GM. The link is in bio. A lot of you guys need this shirt out there. It's great, by the way. It's super comfortable. But there's no wrong combo for me. Like, it's just no. I look at it and go, you want to bat Xander leadoff? Fantastic. You want to bat Soto in the 4? Great. I don't care. I couldn't care less. I love the personnel. I love Cronenworth. He's tearing the cover off the ball. If Nola comes back and hits, after his broken nose, it's phenomenal. Grisham's hitting the ball. I legitimately look at this lineup and go, good luck.
Hassan Kim may be the player I'm sneakily most excited about this season.
100%. Like I know, does that make me a bad fan? I honestly, when the lineup comes out every day, I'm going to go, hell yeah. Let's roll.
Who's the guy then, the last minute or so here? Who's the guy you're most worried about? For me, it's probably either Cruz or Carpenter.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want
the DH.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Those are the ones. Those are the only 2 guys. And maybe it's because, Ben, I'm not super familiar with him. I've seen a couple of ABs. Nelly Cruz looked pretty good in his limited ABs in the WBC. I've seen Carpenter look like me up there trying to hit left-handed this year. I've seen it on more than one occasion. I want him to be locked in. I love it. He's a great pickup. I don't know he's going to replicate what he did last year in New York. I think that's a lot to ask of anyone. And you didn't bring him in here to do that, really. He's there for veteran presence, played multiple positions, left-handed bat, and a professional hitter that can get a walk as well. He and Nelly, though, are the two that I'm like, hope you guys do something. That's the really good point, astute. But the other guys, the other 8, I'm good.
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
And if Nola's out and Campy's in, feel good about that. Like I feel good about Trent, feel good about Hassan Kim, feel good about Jake, feel good about Manny, Soto, Tatis, Xander. I feel great about all of them. I'm so excited. It's not like I'm not nervous or worried because it's baseball. And Kevin Acey's article in the UT was talking about this yesterday. He said baseball is fraught with, peril. And it is. I'm not going to sit here and go, this team's going to run through 115 wins. I'm not. Baseball's too weird. Guys will slump. Guys will get hurt. But I'm so happy with the personnel that we have right now.
All guests on Better Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall Chevrolet. Find new roads. We're down to our championship. We had our Final Four tournament of drops matchups yesterday. We'll reveal the last 2 remaining sound bites next on the Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a very wet. Oh no, hiccups are back.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Shall we record another promo like we did yesterday?
Oh, no.
You couldn't stop hiccuping, so you hiccuped in our promo.
Oh God.
What did you do?
It's these Zen things.
Oh.
Baseball Classic Final.
The hiccups.
3, 2, 1.
The hiccups.
Listen to
That
Ben
was our
Woods
promo.
weekdays
Ben
from
was
6
so
to 10
mad.
on
He's
97.3
like, I
The
know
Fan.
this is tomfoolery, and promos are supposed to be serious. That was not
Serious business.
Serious
business.
Yeah, we are halfway home on a very nasty Tuesday, maybe the nastiest of the year. Please be safe out there. We love you. Be careful. We're here for you. Go really slow. You can ride us out. We got 2 more hours. We can hold your hand through your very slow commute this morning if you're so inclined. We're happy that you choose Ben and Woods if you do. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer and star of a new podcast that is out today. What's the name of the podcast again, Paul?
The Producers Podcast.
The Producers Podcast.
My guy Brady with Barrett Sports Media.
Okay.
It's a little inside radio,
Yeah.
maybe to the layman, but it's an industry platform, and they're always. I subscribe to their newsletter. I think we all do. We get a lot of good sports media news every morning, and yeah, they do a weekly Producers Podcast. So Brady had me on and just kind of asked me, what makes our show work?
That's what I wanted to know. Ben Higgins is also here. I didn't want to forget you in the intro.
I didn't feel forgotten.
Okay.
I was curious to hear
It's
what
Ben.
Paul said about it. What did you say about us?
Yeah, what about us
on this podcast, this
You know,
national podcast?
You
We're
don't
gonna have
want
to
to
go
know.
listen.
Yeah, go listen. No, I mean he asked the.
Is it
probably
a,
the one
is it a
question-
platform for producers to gripe about
To
their
vent.
hosts? That's what I feel
It's
like.
like its own YouTube.
No, that's the group chat.
feature.
Can we
Producers Anonymous.
outdo each other
Ooh.
of how bad our hosts behave and how difficult they are to deal with? Who has the worst war stories, essentially?
I would listen to that.
I think who was it? Somebody literally in the last week asked me, "Who's worse, Ben or Woods?"
Oh, I
And what did you say?
Said they both have their moments.
Yeah. Fair.
And
It's
they both can get to me for completely different reasons.
Yeah. That's fair.
Just like I'm sure I piss you both off for
Yes.
completely different reasons.
It's the part of no one goes through 5 years on Monday. By the way, we have determined now our
March
actual
27th.
anniversary is Monday, and 5 years is coming up. We've been together. We haven't had a knockdown, drag out, no storm out, Steve. I have stormed out before, but I wasn't mad at you guys. I was mad at Adam. Remember that time?
Yes.
Yeah.
How could we
So
forget?
I've never done the storm out bit with you guys. I mean, we're going to celebrate it on Monday. But they were asking Paulie, like,
It's the same thing. I mean, we've had people on our show, guests on our show, national people. They ask, what's the one thing they ask? So how do you guys still talk football in San Diego? Get that every time.
it's a very
seems like.
popular question.
Yeah. And it's the same answer. Not really.
Yeah. I mean, when there's a story, sure.
When there's a story to
When
cover,
in season,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
And he asked, I had to explain to Brady on the podcast what Dodger loving is. He goes,
what's Dodger
you guys,
loving?
you guys are a huge show in San Diego, but you're a huge show in Southern California. How does that play? How does Southern California and the Los Angeles market play into your guys' show? I'm
It
like,
doesn't.
it doesn't, except for Basketball Ben,
Basketball
who
Ben and the
wants to talk
Lakers.
a little Lakers.
Yep.
But I was like, we don't talk Rams, we don't talk Chargers, we don't talk Ducks and Kings. We don't really even talk a lot of Angels and Dodgers. It's, I said, look, we will talk about the Dodgers occasionally. They're one of the best teams in baseball. We're a baseball show. You'd be stupid not to, but we're not going to have a Dodgers pregame show
Oral
host.
Hershiser's not coming on the airwaves
No.
here.
I'm happy if you live in LA and you want to listen to us, happy to have you. But do not expect us to be focusing our
We may
attention
not be
on
the
your
show
teams.
for you, and that's okay.
Yeah, we might not, and that's okay. That's okay.
I try to keep my Lakers comments down to 1 or 2 a week at this point.
In what world?
Do you?
I haven't mentioned the Lakers once this week, and I had a whole
It's
rant.
Tuesday. We've only been on the air for 6
I had a whole
hours.
rant about Anthony Davis over the weekend that I could have.
Tell
I could
Scott
have
on vacation tomorrow.
loaded on you.
When you're at Pinehurst tomorrow, say we got to talk Lakers, buddy, because Woods won't do it, Paul won't do it. What else did they ask, Paulie? I'm curious.
just kind of what makes our show work. He asked what
luck, mostly.
Luck. No, I gave the tier 1
a very
love,
forgiving
man.
audience.
Yes. Very forgiving audience.
I just said, look, our biggest thing, and I think we are as close to what our dream has ever been for the show that we've ever had. Like, we want to sound like 3 guys sitting at a bar talking about sports. We want to take that conversation and spread it out over 4 hours on the radio every morning. We want to entertain you guys.
Yeah.
We don't, we're not going to break down the nickel defense that the Bears played on Monday Night Football. It's just not us. There are other shows that will do that. Just not us.
My dream, and for those of you, because there are probably people that question some of my methods and whatnot, I just want to be a well-rounded show. I want to talk about everything, man. I want to talk about your families. I want to talk about our tier 1's families. I want to talk about your pets. I want to talk about food. I want to talk about sports. I want to talk about music and movies and pop culture. It's not earth-shattering by any stretch of the imagination. Are you curious at all, Ben? Because you're leaving tomorrow. You leave 6:30 in the morning. Are you curious at all? Are you nervous when you leave the ship in Paul's hands? Do you get nervous?
Not really, because I'm not here to deal with the part that would make me nervous. So, I just wish you two the best of luck, and I'll be back on Monday and everything will be fine.
Do you care?
Well, I want you to have good shows. I mean, I'm actually nervous. I just worry that you guys are going to miss me so much and it's going to be harder, because I know when you're gone, it's harder for me.
Sure.
And I feel bad about that part, that I know you're going to have to do a little bit more.
You
and
want
some
us
of the
to
heavy
struggle
lifting
and be begging for you to get back.
No, I don't. That makes me feel guilty, and I don't want to feel guilty when I'm on vacation. I want to think of you thriving. I hope the next 3 shows, the best shows of the year, and you guys have a great time, and the tier 1's love it.
2 shows, but yeah.
Not so much that, you don't want me to come back on Monday.
Like,
but
we look at each other and go,
we don't need him.
We could do this
We
without
can
him.
do this.
Yeah. You whack up his salary between us. We're feeling pretty good. I don't know how. And here's the thing. It's a blank canvas the next couple of days. We got some ideas. I don't know how experimental we're going to get. I'm feeling a touch experimental. So you never know what may happen on Ben and Woods.
It's not a horrible time for it. I know you'll talk about the World Baseball Classic final tomorrow. Big game tonight. You love baseball, so that'll be a driving force in your show.
I may play Lou Reed's Metal Machine music in its entirety.
I mean, I'm glad that I'll be back by Monday to react to whatever happens to the Aztecs this weekend in the NCAA tournament. You will do a little previewing of it, but we never preview. We don't do a lot of previewing of games.
Well, we're going to do a preview today.
We will, actually. Yeah. Sam Scholl is going to join us at 8:35 this morning. Aztecs assistant coach, just to lay it out as they head toward Kentucky in a game against Alabama on Friday. I did a little research yesterday. So there's only one common opponent between the Aztecs and the Crimson Tide this year. They both played Arkansas. Aztecs should have beaten them in the Maui Invitational. They blew that game up 4 with 15 seconds left and lost in overtime. Alabama won both of their league matchups against Arkansas, only by 3 points, though, at home last month. It was a close game. So it's not like, they beat Alabama twice by 30 and the Aztecs lost to them. Yeah, it's, edge to Alabama on the head-to-head, the comparison.
All pretty much goes out the window anyway.
It's not much. You can't glean much from that. I was kind of grasping at some straws just to see if there was anything you could take from the matchup on Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to Sam because Sam's going to be able to paint a picture of what I'm really curious about that preparation, like how you prepare. And that's probably a lot on him.
I feel like the Aztecs do it as well or better than any team in America. Brian Dutcher and his coaches know how to get their team ready for any specific opponent that they face. And I think it's one of the advantages they have in an NCAA tournament setting like this. But we will talk to Sam Scholl coming up at the bottom of the hour. Speaking of the brackets, though, it is time to reveal the final 2 of our tournament of drops. We voted them down from 32 at the start of last week. We are now down to the championship match. We're going to crown our 4th winner of the tournament of drops. At this time tomorrow, you'll have 24 hours to vote on our championship matchup. But, Paulie, go through yesterday's final 4, the 2 matchups, and we'll give you the winners and the final totals here.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the bracket right now onto the YouTube stream. And so yesterday, we'll start on the left side of the bracket. We had the 2 seed.
Where are these cream pies coming from?
And that lost to the 4 seed. And moving on to the championship round.
Good morning, everybody.
Juan Soto.
So Juan Soto got 67.2% of the vote, more than 2 out of 3 votes, to go from a 4 seed, kind of out of nowhere here, and a drop that didn't even exist a month ago, is now competing for the drop of the year title after a fairly convincing run through the brackets.
Surprising, but you see the results each round. Juan Soto just destroyed the competition.
That's not how you start the season. It's how you're playing in March.
Mm-hmm.
And Juan Soto and that drop were playing very well here in the month of March.
And then on the right side of the bracket, a little more chalky, we had 2 number 1 seeds. We had from the Woods region.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
And look, when that drop happened, I thought that's the winner. I don't remember when that drop originated from last year, but I know it was prior to its competitor in the tournament of drops.
Yes.
And look, when this happened, we kind of knew this was going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
So moving on,
we thought Carving Guy had a chance, but turns out
we don't know
nobody
anything.
did.
So moving on to face Juan Soto in the championship from the Adam region.
Is it extra sweet because it's against the Dodgers?
67.9%. By far its closest matchup, but still a 2-1 margin. Is it extra sweet because it was against the Dodgers? Our own Adam interviewing Peter Seidler after the NLDS win.
Not interviewing him, screaming
at him. Yeah. Is the winner going on to our championship match against Juan Soto? Good morning, and you will have 24 hours now to vote on our championship match and crown the 2023 Tournament of Drops winner on the Ben and Woods.
Is it extra sweet because it was against the Dodgers?
That's the first one.
What? Is it extra sweet because it was against the Dodgers?
It makes me so uncomfortable.
You see, I took a screenshot of Peter's face, looking in at him like, "Who the hell do you think you are? Are you Why are you yelling at me?"
Holy cow! Holy cow! Holy cow! Holy cow! Holy cow!
One more time. Juan Soto, the 4 seed.
Good morning, everybody.
Going up against the 1 seed.
Is it extra sweet because it's against the Dodgers?
Poll will be up momentarily.
Wow.
I wonder if Adam had any realization when that was happening.
Of what?
Of what would it would turn into?
Clearly not.
No.
Does that
those big moments in your life?
Did
you don't
he have
even
any
notice them when they're
self-awareness at all as he was screaming his question to the owner of the San Diego Padres?
I'm sure he'd say, "Well, there's loud music playing. Everyone was celebrating. He wanted to be heard over the din."
Yeah, just sometimes just let the moment breathe. Let the man live. Right?
Is it extra sweet because it's against the Dodgers?
What'd you say? Your voice cracked. I couldn't hear you.
Is it extra sweet because it's against the Dodgers?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. Thank
you.
A little bit. Be gone.
Get away from me.
I think it's gonna win.
Yeah. That's my pick. Put it in Sharpie.
I think it's gonna win.
It would feel like a fitting wrapping up of the last 12 months if that was the winner, for sure. Let's see. Where are we on our Tier 1 tour? We'll come back. It is the Toronto Blue Jays in the spotlight. And then Sam Scholl will join us at the bottom of the hour, assistant coach to Brian Dutcher for the San Diego State basketball team as they get ready for Alabama, all coming up as we continue on toward 10 o'clock with Ben and Woods. Let's check traffic right now on 97.3 The Fan. Are getting close, just 9 days away. You can join 97.3 The Fan Thursday, March 30th at Happy Does, 345th Avenue for opening day, presented by Coors Light, made to chill. Our program and Coach will be broadcasting live. We'll start at 6 a.m. Coach will head till noon, leading right up to the opener. Stop on by, get a beverage, say hello, start your day. It's a little earlier start this year than it was last year, so maybe more convenient to drop on by.
I like that.
Our program than it was last year.
Man. With was a lag.
It was like what time was the
3:30 something?
Yeah,
so it was
a little bit earlier this year.
I like that.
All right, so as we continue our Tier 1 tour, trying to get through all these Padres opponents before we get to opening day, we come on another interleague foe, the Toronto Blue Jays, and I don't think I'm speaking out of school to say a team that, if the Padres do make it to the World Series, could be the team on the other side in the American League. Certainly one of
a bold statement.
One of the teams I would say that has a shot at being there at the end in the AL. Do you agree or disagree?
This is going to make some Canadians mad at me, but it's okay because Canadians are typically nicer than Americans. I think that the Blue Jays are like the Angels. They're in that Angels vein. Massively talented players, like some of the best, some of the most exciting players to go watch play a baseball game. Period. The end. Vladdy Jr., Bo Bichette, Matt Chapman is a ridiculous third baseman. George Springer, phenomenal player. I don't know why they continue to falter. I don't know why they don't, frankly, with some of the talent they have, run away with it. Could it be pitching? Now they've made some moves, Ben, some moves that I really, really like. I love Alek Manoah. He's a total gamer. Gossman's a huge pickup for them. Chris Bassett's a nice pickup for them. Jose Barrios is a nice pickup for them. Yusei Kikuchi rounds out their roster, but they've got some other young guns that are pretty good players too. Mitch White is pretty electric. They've got a really good rotation. Bullpen, they're going to need some help in the pen, I think. They do have a really good closer, but yeah, man, I don't know why they haven't been able to put it together.
All right.
Yet.
Well, I mean, I think you've just acknowledged, though, they probably have a top 10 rotation in baseball and a top maybe 5 lineup in baseball.
Yeah, I don't know about the lineup. I don't know. I don't know if it's a top 5. They added Dalton Varsho. They got rid of Teoscar Hernandez. They added Kevin Kiermaier. I mean,
they've got Alejandro Kirk behind the plate.
Yep,
I think that gives him an advantage at catcher over a lot of teams.
Is Chapman going to hit enough? Is Bo Bichette going to hit enough?
I think here's my.
They got Whit Merrifield.
Your comparison with the Angels was not off base. Maybe kind of go, all right, that's a good point there, Woods. But we've had this conversation about the Padres. One thing that the Padres have lacked is a little bit of consistency. Lineup consistency over the last few years, and it can be sometimes difficult. The Blue Jays have had some young players coming up. They've made a lot of changes. It feels like to me this might be the year where they finally settle in a little bit and we see the Blue Jays reach their potential. And I think that potential, while still a bit unreached and untapped, is about as high as any team in baseball. They've been underachievers, to be sure.
They have.
Doesn't mean you're always going to be an underachiever.
I mean, I say this every year about the Jays. They're forced to be reckoned with. You know who else I say that about every year? The Angels. Love the moves they made in the offseason. Looks like they've really
I think
improved.
the Angels have significantly more holes and depth issues, though. Yes, they've got 2 of the best players in the world, but after that, it's rougher. I think the Blue Jays are deep and talented. They've got stars. They've got complementary pieces. I like this Blue Jays team. I do, and they're just waiting for it to all kind of come together.
I always do. The guy in our chat goes, no, the Jays are a wagon. And I go, yeah, I say that they're a wagon every single year. And he goes, well, their pitching staff's great. I go, yeah, I said their pitching staff's great. I say it every year. Every year I go, these guys, I'm telling you, man, watch out. Jays are going to sneak up.
One thing that has been a struggle is they've played in a very tough division.
Yep.
With the Yankees and the Rays and the Red Sox, who are sometimes good. They have the same advantage of less divisional games. I think it's going to help the Blue Jays with their record. What have you seen an over-under total on the Toronto Blue Jays?
I have not. I could probably find one
for this year. I know we've had a few guesses on some of our previous Tier 1 spring training.
Vegas Insiders got him at
previews.
91.5. No, I'm sorry, 89.5.
I think they're a 90-win team. I'm going to go over for the Blue Jays
I'm an
this
idiot.
season.
Sorry, 90.5.
Oof. I'll still go over.
Okay.
Still go over, not quite as enthusiastically, but I'm gonna take the over. I expect them to be in the postseason. Obviously, the playoffs are unpredictable, a crapshoot, but I do think that they have the depth and the top end talent that you both need to survive a long season and make a run in the postseason.
You know, honestly, like I would like to see it. I would like to see it because they have players on that team that I just love watching play the game of baseball. I would like to see the Blue Jays take that next step, Ben, and not only make the playoffs, but, win a playoff series or two. Similarities, like you said, pretty close to this team here.
I think the Astros, we talked about that earlier, are going to take a bit of a step back. I think they're more vulnerable than they've been, and it is an opportunity for a team like the Blue Jays to step up. Now, it's an opportunity for some other teams, Mariners, Yankees, White Sox. They all have a chance here to step up in the American League. We've talked about this before. The American League is not the National League.
Yeah.
The National League is the much tougher league this year, on paper at least. Deeper, better at the top, going to be harder to win the pennant in the National League than it is in the American League. Not that it's going to be easy in the American League, but I feel like there's more opportunities for more teams to maybe sneak somewhere out of like where the Blue Jays or White Sox were last year and rise up and win a pennant. In the National League, it's not happening. If you're not the Padres, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Braves, or the Phillies, I don't think you're winning the pennant this year.
The Mets, they are kind of It's going to be hard for any team to slide
to break
into
through out of that. Someone will make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The NL Central winner, but I don't see them. I think we've kind of got our 5 contenders are fairly neatly and dominantly wrapped up there in the National League.
Yeah, I agree. But I again would love to see them put it together, man. A team I really enjoy watching. Watching Alek Manoah pitch is like, it's insane. It's an electric factor every time he throws. Wants to fight everybody on the other team. Definitely a throwback kind of guy. Kevin Gossman's really, really good too. I love their pitching. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And they've shown a willingness too, Ben, to be able to cut some ties with some really popular players to try to improve their team. Teoscar Hernandez was beloved there. And I like the Dalton Varsho move as well that they traded for him. So I think they're going to be, as I say every year, I think they're going to be a force, but you got to show me. You got to show me instead of just being one on paper.
All right, looking forward to talking to Sam Scholl up next. It's been a while. We always had fun when we chatted with him when he was the USD head coach. Obviously, he can give us a very inside perspective on the Aztecs in the Sweet 16, being an assistant coach, but he also has those outsider eyes of it's his first year in this program, and just curious to know what he's learned about what makes Brian Dutcher and San Diego State a successful basketball program from what he's witnessed over these last 5 months or so that he's been with the team. Very fascinating. Sam Scholl, our guest when we come back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour, 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world-famous Bob-O-Pedic mattresses with all the comfort and quality of a national mattress brand for half the price. No matter your budget, there is a Bob-O-Pedic memory foam hybrid or hybrid plus mattress for you. Check them out at mybobs.com. We got Sam Scholl, assistant coach of the Aztecs, getting ready for the Sweet 16, set to join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Wet roadways, no problem, said no one ever on a day like this. Numerous problems, guys. Too many to mention in one report, but I will touch on a few of the newer problems with that. Southbound side of the 805, this is right before Sorrento Valley. Collision with your vehicle spun out at the fast lane blocked. Another crash reported right before Mira Mesa Boulevard. And then up ahead, another accident. This one is near Home Avenue. Those vehicles made it over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on the northbound 67 right before the 52. Crash in the center divide. Looks like there's a vehicle stuck in the mud there. Southbound 125 right around H Street. We have reports of a collision. Looks like this one is over to the right shoulder on the coastline. That's been a tough ride this morning. Got an accident before Manchester. Another accident reported right before Palomar Airport Road. Vehicle spun out, hit the center divide. You know there's plenty more problems where that came from, guys, so continue to take it extra carefully out there. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So back in the day, we used to have weekly conversations with our next guest. He was the coach of the USD Toreros. Now he's an assistant on Brian Dutcher's staff, and joining us right now on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline is Sam Scholl. Sam, welcome back to Ben & Woods. How have you been?
I've been great. Good morning, guys. This is a real treat to be with you guys again. I really appreciate it.
It's good to have you, my friend. And I wanted to ask you right out of the chute. So, you know, Ben is kind of the head coach of the Ben & Woods show and often delegates me to do things, some of the dirty work, as it were. Sam, I wanted to know what is your role for Dutch? What does he lean on you the most for?
Like all of our staff, just a lot of film work, a lot of communicating our message to the guys and making sure they're set and know the game plan for games that are coming up and then how they're playing and what they need to do better and so just a lot of communication, a lot of film watching, and it's been an absolutely amazing experience here being an Aztec.
Sam, I feel like the Aztecs win a lot of games with prep. And while that is a compliment to the coaching staff, it's also a compliment to the players, because you can't just make players understand what they're supposed to do. They have to be experienced players who have been doing this for a while. And it seems as though your guys do that much better than a lot of other college basketball teams.
Oh, you are exactly right. When I've been in our film rooms and watched film with our guys, it's an attention to detail that I have never seen in my 20 years of being a college basketball coach. Our guys, when film's up on the screen, they have extreme dial-in. When we go out, our coaching staff does an amazing job of creating breakdown drills that are going to put you in the game and get you ready for what's to come. And their focus and their attention to detail in those drills is really, really impressive. Our guys prepare as well as anybody.
Yeah, there's a great quote I saw. I don't remember who said it, but it was, "The harder I work, the luckier I get." And that just is that's always rung. It's always hit home with me, Sam. And you can see it. You can see it in the way that the guys are playing. And now, you get to March, and this is what you play for. And winning the conference was awesome. But, man, it's such a fleeting celebration, because now you got to get ready for where all eyes are on you, and they will be again when you take on Alabama, the #1 overall seed. How's the mood of the guys? Are they excited? Are they quietly ready to go and just take this team on? Because I know there's probably not a man in that locker room that thinks that they cannot beat that team.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, since the summer when we started our work together, you could just tell. It was never spoken, but you could just tell that this team had a sense and a goal that they wanted to hang a different kind of banner up in Viejas. There's so many banners, there's so many championships, and I think this team had a determination to, put another Sweet 16 banner up there or something even better. And so, it showed when after the Furman game we come off the floor, and I think we were the only team that didn't throw water on their head coach. the guys are just kind of like, this is what we were supposed to do. And now we got to get dialed in and ready for the next great step and playing a great Alabama team.
Talking to Sam Scholl, Aztecs assistant coach, as the Aztecs get ready to face Alabama this Friday in the Sweet 16. And Sam, one of the common themes you keep hearing from whether it's the commentators or the opposing coaches, that San Diego State team, physical. They've got men out there. They've got men. Charles Barkley said,
"Those are men."
Yeah, Furman came out. They've got good college basketball players. The Aztecs, they got men going out onto the court. Now, Alabama also has men.
They do.
So
they're a man
this is going to be a little different. There's not going to be the physical advantage that you guys were able to take advantage of in those first 2 games of the tournament. How different is this matchup? I mean, what can you tell us about the Crimson Tide and the game plan here?
Yeah, this is a very talented and very deep Alabama team. I mean, this is probably the only team that we'll probably face all year that has depth on their roster comparable to ours. I mean, they'll play 9, 10, 11 guys. Brandon Miller is obviously very, very talented player. Going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. And when you look at Alabama, the kind of thing that was surprising to me, at least, is that I always thought of Alabama as a high octane offensive program, but they're the number 3 defense in the country by Ken Pom, and we're the number 5. So I think it's going to be a battle of defenses and who can inflict their will on the defensive end at a higher level, and then finish possessions with rebounds, and then be able to try to get the best shots possible. I think open, easy looks are going to be hard to come by for both teams in this game, and I think it's really going to be a big emphasis, for us is can we create good open shots in transition and in the half court.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the thing for a coach going into a game like this, where it's, if you get your shot, you got to make it. I mean, you cannot afford to. I've seen so many opportunities in this tournament, not the Aztecs, but other teams, highly seeded teams blowing layups and missing clutch free throws down the stretch, Sam. And I think a lot of that's nerves. I think a lot of it's the moment just gets really big. What do you say to the kids before? Because, hey, let's be honest. When they came out, the first 5 minutes of the first game, they looked a little shook. And boy, you guys got them back down to neutral, and then they played really well, and of course played really, really well in the second game. Looks like those nerves were gone. But this is the biggest game that these guys have ever played. How do you keep them calm before a game like this?
Well, these guys have played such a high level of basketball for so long, and they've had so many shots taken in so many big games throughout their courses of their career. When you think of all the experience that we have, we just ask them just to trust their reps. These guys work extremely hard during the week. They're spending so much time in the gym. So we just say, hey, trust your work that you put in the Jam Center by yourself. And then trust all the experience that you have in playing in so many big games in your career, and then just go out and play. Have your mind be free, and play to your abilities. And we always tell them that we'll be very, very happy with the results that come from that.
Sam, I want to try to ask this diplomatically, because I have the utmost respect for USD and Bill McGillis, and I know when you were there, you guys did things the right way. It's a great school. You worked really hard. So now that you've been at San Diego State for a few months and you've gotten to observe this program, what is the difference? What separates San Diego State from another school out there that works hard and tries to have success but doesn't quite get there?
The biggest thing that hit me right in the face was just the talent of all the people across the board in this athletic department. Just so many highly talented people. I mean, we have an unbelievable strength and conditioning coach in Justin Landry. We have an unbelievable athletic trainer in Sergio, and then our coaching staff and the experience that they have, and all the way through the whole athletic department. It's just the people. I mean, it's what drives this great program and the tradition that's come from it. And obviously going back to Coach Fisher and Mark Fisher and Dutch and all the things that they've done for so many years. And when you walk around the halls of the buildings here and you go into the Jam Center and you go into Viejas, you just feel winning and you feel excellence. And that was just something that just really, really took me aback, right off the get-go. And I'm so grateful to have a chance to be a part of it.
Sam, what's Dutch like before a game like this weekend?
He can't be as calm as he seems, right?
What's he like? Like, what's the?
He's amazing. He really is. He really is as cool of a customer as they come. Dutch is as good as a preparer for games as there is. I mean, he watches so much film, and he sees things on film that others don't. And we'll be in a film session as a staff, and all of a sudden, like he'll make a point, and we're like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that." He is a tremendous at preparing our team. He does an unbelievable job of simplifying game plans so that the guys know exactly what they need to be focused on. And he does a great job of creating a story, and what we need to do and what it's going to take to be able to have earn another great win.
I'm always amazed how
you can tell Brian Dutcher to walk away and tell us what he
really is.
I'm always amazed that alley-oop to key shot works like at the start of the game. I mean, I know the other teams are watching. They must be telling their kids, they run this, you got to watch for this, and then they throw it up there and it's 2-0, and you've got an alley-oop to start the game. I mean, it's had to happen six or seven times this season so far.
That's a great play, and the great thing about that play is it started with the Fab Five. Dutch used to run that for them back in Michigan, So I think that play's had a lot of alley-oop dunks and a lot of success, and it's certainly one of our better actions to run offensively.
Well, Sam, safe travels with the team tomorrow, and obviously, I mean, good luck on Friday. I know it's going to be a tough challenge, but the opportunity is there. 2 more wins to the Final Four, which would be absolutely incredible, and great catching up with you again, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again soon.
Thank you so much, guys. It was great being with you again. I hope you have a great day.
Hey, Sam, you too.
Sam Scholl,
the nicest man in college basketball,
he really is.
Period.
And Dutch is just such a nice guy.
Coach Fisher, nice guy.
But there's been obviously incredibly successful college basketball coaches who don't seem like nice guys. Not at all.
There's a few out there.
The Bobby Knights and just they seem just like really horrible people, and yet they've had an unbelievable career and amazing success. So how do you do it?
Pitino's in the new.
He's the new coach at St. John's again. And I mean, I'm sure they've got charisma and personality, but I never understood the whole Bobby Knight thing. Maybe it's a bygone era now that you would want to send your kids to play for someone like that, and then you'd end up having that much success.
Man, I could really go either way on it. Honestly, I could. I think
there's got to be a good mix.
There's got to be a mix. I have no problem.
And I'm sure Dutch can.
I was going to say, Dutch will lay into somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I was
when warranted.
Yeah, I mean, but just not for.
But I don't want to send him to play for a turd like Jim Boeheim's been in the last 5 years.
Boeheim's at practice, probably just on his phone.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Doesn't want to be there. Bobby Knight's that's a bit extreme for me. It's a bit extreme. It would be tough. I mean, when the guy's grabbing guys around the throat and stuff.
Look at Coach K, dude. I bet Coach K.
Oh, I bet he lights you up, dude.
His players up when needed.
But you give him the chance to send your kid there.
But he also seems like a genuinely nice guy.
All right, good question here.
I wouldn't want to piss off Nick Saban, but I think Nick Saban's also a genuinely good guy.
We've all seen the Augie Garrido speech, right? When he walks, Augie Garrido, Hall of Fame
baseball coach
for the University of Texas, and he walks into the room and slams the door and just proceeds to light his players up, the likes of which I've never seen. I mean, it's my number one favorite rant. And I don't watch that at all and go, oh man, that's too harsh. And these kids, they're just kids. No, never once have I watched it and gone, he crossed the line. He crossed the line. The way he delivers it makes me want to go run through a wall. I want a leader like that, because I know that guy's going to be in the trenches with me. He's not going to be sitting up on a perch somewhere just telling me what to do. It's my favorite rant in sports. I would have Paulie edit it. It would take him a month. I mean, it's like so.
Wouldn't sound good either.
Just be beep, beep. It's so blue. But if that was my kid in there, I'd be like, well, I hope you listened and I hope you learned and don't do it again. I think it's brilliant.
Well, I think what Brian Dutcher has done. By the way, Steve Fisher twice took the Aztecs to the Sweet 16, never got beyond. Dutcher is 1 win away from doing something that Coach Fisher has not done. I'd like to ask, they named the court Steve Fisher Court. What are they going to name after Brian Dutcher at San Diego State? You're going to have to find something else to name, the Dutch.
The sandwich.
A Dutch witch.
A Dutch witch. Yeah. It's a good place to start.
San Diego State. I remember. You weren't here, Woods. It was as dismal. Paulie, that was even before your time. San Diego State basketball was
my senior year of high school. They made the tournament, and I was like,
I talked about
cool.
I talked about USD obviously being, fine. One of those. They don't really make the tournament much, but they're trying. They do some things right. San Diego State was literally one of the worst college basketball programs in America 25 years ago. One of the worst. Not middle of the road. Not unable to break through. Not close. Not getting it. No. Like horrifically bad with no fans, no players,
give tickets away,
no hope whatsoever.
It's incredible what Steve Fisher and Brian Dutcher, who's been with him the entire time here in San Diego.
I think the first year of the Mountain West, they went 0-16 or something in the conference.
It does not get enough credit. Maybe it does here in San Diego, but nationally, what Fisher and Dutcher built.
I told you, as soon as that game ended, the tweets started rolling in, and it was like guys were sitting looking out the window, having their coffee, and go, those Aztecs have really been pretty good for a while, and I've kind of forgotten them. I mean, the national pundits were all tweeting about them on Saturday. Every one of them was like, these guys don't get enough credit.
I saw,
kind of cool. It's kind of like the Padres.
The ratings came in for that game on, the only game in town on Saturday morning.
Yeah, they were huge.
Nearly 5 million people across the country watch San Diego State Furman. Don't know if it's true or not, but I'd have to imagine. I don't know that there's been that many people who have ever watched a San Diego State sporting event. I mean, maybe when Kawhi was in the Sweet 16, I don't remember because they had games opposite, or at least one game opposite that back then. San Diego State football, they don't get that kind of numbers. They don't play in those kind of games where you get that chance to see that many people watch your program, not only play, but dominate in the NCAA tournament and punch a ticket to the Sweet 16. Really, really amazing.
What time will it be when you're in North Carolina?
The game?
Yeah.
6:30 on Friday.
So you'll be done with your golf.
I will be done, yes, and probably enjoying. I think we're going to the Pinehurst Brewing Company that night. TVs all over the place. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
I've just played number 2, the famous course.
Oh, you're going to be flying
and then
high.
Watching the Aztecs. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. It's going to be a really good day.
Give me your round prediction for number 2 at Pinehurst. All right.
Even our friend Matt Janela said, lower your expectations.
Okay.
It is so hard.
Okay.
And not hard in the way like you go out to Lake Madeiras and you lose a bunch of balls. There's nothing tricky about it. It's straightforward. It's right in front of you. It's fairways. You don't even lose balls. It's just the sand on the sides in trees. But the greens are so tough that people putt and they roll right off the greens. You don't know. They're all crowned. That's the Donald Ross style of greens where, yes, the green may look big, but if you're not in the middle portion of it, it's just going to roll right back off. So you have to be very precise. I'm going to say I'd be happy with anything below 85.
Okay.
On that course.
All right. Set it.
And we like to
set it at 84.
I don't think we're going to play the U.S. Open tees, which is like 7,500 yards, but we'll play 7,000. We'll play them back. It'll be hard. It'll be tough.
84.5 is the number.
All right. Good stuff from Sam Scholl. We'll do all Sam guests today. Sammy Spring Training will join us in our final hour. We'll get a Rindle report.
Sam Hunt coming on later as well.
Polly coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. Just wrapping up our college basketball talk. We mentioned Bobby Knight, which made me think of Indiana, which made me think of our friend Ryan Phillips, the Hoosier. They are in the torture chamber. Did you see what happened to Indiana?
No.
Obviously, they lost in the NCAA tournament on Sunday to Miami.
I think I had them going a couple games, too.
5 seed over a 4 seed. You know what happened yesterday to their top-seeded women's team?
No.
They lost to Miami in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, double
They
whammy.
lost to the same school 2 days in a row in the NCAA tournament.
There he is.
I wonder if that's ever happened. The same matchup, the same winner.
It has to.
I mean, just randomly, they faced Miami both games and lost both of them.
God,
it's very women's. This is the first time one women's 1 seed has been out the first weekend, much less 2 since like 2007. They don't have the upsets in women's basketball like they do in the men's. A lot because you get to play on your home court in the first 2 rounds in the women's tournament, so you see much fewer upsets. And there's already 2 number 1s out in both the men's and women's tournament. Right now, as they have completed the first weekend on both sides, now going to the Sweet 16.
2 number 1s out in the women, 1 number 1 out in the men's.
2
number 1s out. Yeah. So
Kansas and
Purdue. Yeah.
And then Stanford lost on Sunday night, and then Indiana lost last night on the women's side.
Interesting.
Unpredictability in college sports. Now, speaking of predictions, who do you have tonight? You got Japan or Team USA in the finals of the World Baseball Classic? Japan won the first 2 of these things. They're going like for total dominance with 3 wins in the World Baseball Classic. No other team would have more than 1. They'd be the clear kings of the WBC. But if the United States wins, they'll have won back-to-back, and they'll have matched Japan with their 2 titles, and they'll have all the momentum. You'd have to say the U.S. is the champions of the all-time WBC. So pretty big matchup tonight in WBC history.
As big as it gets, dude. I honestly wish I knew how to call it. I wish I knew how to call it. I look at this matchup and go, nope, no idea. What's Merrill Kelly going to give the U.S. tonight? Merrill Kelly's a pretty good pitcher. I would imagine that this kid that Japan's throwing is pretty good as well. They're going to piggyback him allegedly with Yu Darvish. Got to imagine if there's an opportunity for Shohei Ohtani to come in and get some big outs, they will use him.
So much speculation that the game will somehow come down to Ohtani in relief, having to face Mike Trout, his Angels teammate, in a big spot for the World Baseball Classic.
I'm taking Ohtani in that matchup. A, the way Trout's looked, and B, how great Shohei Ohtani is.
So if you had asked me a few days ago, I would have said Japan for sure.
I know.
The way the U.S. broke out the bats against Cuba, now was that just Cuba was out of pitching and they lit them up and it won't be the same against Japan? Or is Team USA, which is obviously loaded with great players, are they finally kind of finding their stride after a bit of a slow start? You know, losing their first game, didn't really look like they were going to do much, but they've kind of gotten better every single game. And if they get better again, well, it'd be almost impossible to beat Team USA in a matchup like that.
I know, and having Trey Jeter 11 on in the chat just makes a good point. Trey Turner hitting in the 9. I don't know that he will tonight, but it's where the guy's been hitting. He's been locked in. I got to lean the USA. I'm going to have to lean Team USA on this one. But yeah, they're going to have to mash. And Merrill Kelly, I mean, imagine that assignment. Especially watching what you saw last night. I mean, those guys are professional hitters over there. Now they were turned away pretty early by Mexico last night. I mean, they were not getting good swings off Sandoval at all. Got into the bullpen. The bullpen was a little bit wild. They were bouncing balls in the dirt, walking guys. If Merrill Kelly can throw strikes, let your defense work behind you, I think we have as good a shot as any. I'm gonna lean USA on this one.
I think if you can control those top 3 guys in the Japanese order, that they don't have the hitting depth that the United States has. But if you let Ohtani get to you a couple of times, then Japan absolutely can and probably will win this game. So, well, crazy thing. As Shohei Ohtani goes, so goes Team Japan in the game today.
I'm excited though. I mean, it's going to be kind of a letdown when it's over.
I kind of like Japan though. I feel like the pitching. I don't see the first guy. I just don't know enough about him. If he can get through,
if he gets through his 2,
and you've got Darvish and Ohtani still coming, that's not a great spot for the U.S. to be in. Now, if the U.S. comes out mashing and puts up 6 runs in the first couple innings, that's a bad spot for Japan to have to come back and score that many. So, yeah, we'll know a lot early in this game, I think.
Man, I'm excited for it. It's going to be kind of a bummer when it's over, to be honest. It's going to be then we have to wait for real baseball for a week or so. But it's been everything advertised and then some. It's been incredible.
Golfers, the Ben & Woods Open taking place. And by the way, you don't have to be an expert golfer. It's a scramble. You just come out. If you played, grab the sticks a couple of times, bring some friends out. The Ben & Woods Open taking place Thursday, April 6th at Rancho Bernardo Inn. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., the link will go live. We'll put it up on all our social channels to get your spots. Try to be, set a reminder on your phone, though, because spots went very fast last time. And if you want to get in, it behooves you to do so quickly tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you to all of our sponsors, including Coastal Fire and Integration Systems and Maestro Dobel Tequila, putting on the Ben & Woods Open on April 6th. That's 2 weeks from Thursday at RB Inn in Rancho Bernardo.
Very much looking forward to that tournament.
All right, it's time for Paul to do his thing with the Rindle Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
Miss you, carving guy. Miss you every day.
It's the Rindle Report brought to you by the San Diego Sockers. The Lords of Indoor are on the march to the Ron Newman Cup playoffs. Get your tickets today at sdsockers.com. We will start off. Let's go here. By very high demand, wanted to bring up that the San Diego Wave are getting ready to start their 2023 campaign. They kick off 7 p.m. this Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium, taking on the Red Stars.
First full season at Snapdragon. They moved in late last season and had that one game where they set the all-time NWSL attendance record for one game. And now they're going to do it again, at least for a home opener attendance record. They've already sold over 23,500 tickets, which is the attendance record for an NWSL home opener. I don't know. Will they do this every game? Like, what's the biggest second game attendance ever in NWSL history? Just break that.
Proud to announce
clearly
the 9th game we have
attendance
set the record.
You see those fans, especially the girl soccer players in town, the 9 and 11-year-olds just screaming their heads off for rock stars like Alex Morgan and Caitlin Sheridan in goal. I mean, people are really excited for the start of another season here.
We made a big deal about Padres catching prospect Ethan Salas, 16-year-old Ethan Salas from Venezuela. The San Diego Wave actually made some news this morning, Ben, by signing a 15-year-old midfielder, Melanie Barcenas, to a 3-year contract through 2025. Now, she's from Claremont, so homegrown girl, 15 years old, has signed a professional contract. That's pretty amazing.
And by the way, breaking news, I just got this email. Alex Morgan has just launched the Alex Morgan Foundation to create equity and opportunity on the field and off. Got some details here, but Alex Morgan giving back to the community with some local programs and getting involved, really becoming part of the fabric of San Diego, which is fun to see in her second season here with the Wave.
Thank you, Paulie.
You are very welcome.
Good Wave talk, people.
All right, next up, we were just talking about this like last week. You guys remember SlamBall?
I brought it up last week. It's one of my favorite things ever.
Got it up on the chat. You can see some of the highlights. It was a phenomenon. Like over 20 years ago, you saw it on ESPN. It was usually like late at night. You would catch SlamBall, and it was like a 30-minute program, and it's basketball on trampolines.
It's incredible.
It's like full contact. Guys will try to block somebody and just like they are 12 feet up in the air. Some of the athleticism is just incredible. And then it kind of just went away.
Yeah. Where did it go?
It's back. I mean, I don't know if they just didn't have the funding or whatever, but after over a 20-year hiatus, SlamBall is making its return, and it's got some pretty big investors. Gary V, Blake Griffin are just a few of the names. It's going to officially relaunch in July with a 6-week regular season and then a 1-week playoffs series in Las Vegas. It's very hard to handle the YouTube directing.
Yes, it's all right.
Talking as well.
Sorry.
But yeah, so SlamBall, I was like, it's just weird. When I saw that headline, I'm like, it's been gone for over 20 years. We just happened to bring it up last week.
I got it confused
now
with
it's back.
spike ball, which is a different sport entirely.
That's like something you play at the beach with your friends.
Yes. Yeah, that's not SlamBall. That's
I would love to
spike ball.
see you play. Actually, I'd love to see you play either of those, but I'd really love to see you play SlamBall.
So I think you missed out on, Ben. Your kids are how old? 19,
17.
19 and 17. I think you missed out on the trampoline park phenomenon. Now, we had trampolines growing up. Certainly, they were death traps, the double bouncing into the bushes. And
we didn't even have the nets on the sides
they did not
that
exist.
They do nowadays that keep you from falling off the edge.
It did not exist.
No, you just went right off the side.
Yeah, 75
or
feet
your
in the air.
foot would land right in between the springs and just get ripped the flesh off.
And your parents would drive by and go, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I was jumping on the trail. I'll be home later." "Okay,
and they
have
go,
fun."
"Oh, good, exercise out.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great."
You're going 75 feet in the air because some senior wants to double bounce you. "Hey, let's play crack the egg, kid. Hold your feet together." And you're like, "I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead." Crack the egg. It's a torture device. So you missed out on the phenomenon of these massive trampoline parks. Well, I've taken my kids to a couple of them. They have SlamBall in there. They have basketball courts with the trampolines in it. It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing ever.
It's awesome.
Bo's like, "Man, Dad, you're good." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 235 pounds jumping on a trampoline. Of course I can dunk." Now I can finally dunk. Yes, I can even go between my legs. Like, it's the greatest thing ever. You feel athletic for just a fleeting moment. Those parks, disgustingly germy, brilliant in every other way.
So there's been quite a few people over the years that have been like literally petitioning to hashtag bring back SlamBall. That hashtag has over 200 million views.
That's insane.
And so a couple of the guys behind SlamBall, Mason Gordon, he said it's an incredible feeling to be back, and especially by popular demand. Blah, blah, blah. This is a true Cinderella story, only with helmets, pads, and trampolines. The other guy, Mike Tolan. I think we've even had Mike Tolan on the show. He's a filmmaker. He runs Tolan's Mandalay Sports Media. They're the ones that put together The Last Dance, and they are already developing a docuseries around SlamBall. Because everything needs a documentary series.
You have to have a documentary. Where's our documentary?
It's true.
Who's going to do the Ben and Woods docuseries?
Probably make Paul do it.
Directing the YouTube stream.
We'll pitch it to Netflix. We'll pitch it to
show.
HBO Max. It'll end up on our YouTube channel.
Hey,
Go and subscribe.
Paul, it's Adam. If you could get a documentary of the guys going, that'd be great. He does have a lot of Lumberg in him because he does the hey guys.
It doesn't have to be 10 parts or anything.
Yeah, like
just
one part.
2 or 3 parts is fine. It's
all right. Get on it, Paulie.
All right. First, let me tell you about this last story here. The capital city of Saskatchewan, Canada, is in a little bit of trouble. Their tourism board is catching some heat because they launched a new ad campaign last week.
Okay.
And people caught on quickly. People were very upset with it. Now, does anybody know the capital city of Saskatchewan, Canada?
Calgary.
No, that's in Alberta.
That's in Alberta.
It's
Moron.
stupid. It's in Alberta.
Halifax.
Ooh, that's in
Good
Nova
guess.
Scotia, I think.
You know a lot about Canada.
I don't.
The capital city of Saskatchewan, Canada is, and I've confirmed that this is the pronunciation, Regina.
Yeah.
Gina.
Seen it on the map before. Never visited.
Regina, Saskatchewan.
You never visited Regina?
I have never been to Regina.
So the tourism board last week launched a new ad campaign with some slogans.
I used to go more. Haven't been in a while. Need to build up some frequent flyer miles to get back to Regina. ASAFP.
Is this what got Regina in trouble? Paul?
It's too easy, dude. Come on.
You should work for their tourism board. You could have helped come up with.
I'm here, everybody.
A couple of their slogans were "Show us your Regina."
Oh wow, that is that's not even overt.
That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
And the other one was Regina, the city that rhymes with fun.
Wow, I could have done way better. Regina. Once you get here, you'll never want to leave. Right? True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fact.
Nothing could be finer than a vacation in Regina. Sure.
It's not Regina. Hey, let's go to Regina. Hey,
Are you from Boston?
Hey, Regina.
A lot of Regina residents did not find the campaign funny.
What is a Regina, like a Reginite or a Reginer?
Reginian?
Reginian.
Yeah.
They did not want their city represented this way, and they have been pushing for it to be canceled. The CEO of the tourism board, this guy named Tim, said he was very proud of the campaign at first, but he apologized over the weekend. Said he was just, the board was trying to own the joke, and obviously they went too far with it, and now his job might be in jeopardy.
Regina, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Whatever happened? I mean, Virginia is for lovers. They get away with that one.
Regina. Also, I have such a good one, and I don't think I can say it. I'll tell you
Type
guys.
it into the chat.
I'll tell you guys off the air. It's so good. My wife would be ringing the misogyny bell on me, though.
I mean, sometimes this story just falls into your lap, and you go, "Oh, here we go."
Regina.
All right.
I'd just go with Regina. Yeah,
just change the pronunciation
to Regina,
like Joe Theismann.
Yeah, Theismann.
Theismann became Theismann.
Yeah. Regina. We're now Regina because of your crass jokes. Tim from the tourism board.
The city that rhymes with fun.
The city that rhymes with fun. Regina. And it doesn't. Fun and Regina aren't the same.
No,
I don't know. I can't draw the connection here. What are they getting at?
That is unbelievable. Nice place to summer. Regina.
Big fan.
Huge fan.
All right. We will check that traffic again, and we will come back. Either we can spin the topic wheel, or we can talk a little football. I'll let Woods vote on it when we return.
Already.
With Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Just found out that Ryan Reynolds grew up in the Regina area up in Canada, and I'm sure he's heard and made every Regina joke that you can make. He's a very funny guy.
He is. He's also very rich.
Very rich. Got a beautiful wife, beautiful family. They're incessant ball breakers on each other.
He owns a soccer team,
and
he just sold a cellular phone company to T-Mobile.
Mint Mobile.
He just sold
a liquor company.
He just sold that. Tito's
sold
maybe?
that for hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, not Tito's.
I think Tito's bought.
Oh,
I think it was Tito's.
Yes.
I don't know. For sure.
Well, he's definitely made 2 giant profitable transactions recently.
Professional sports franchise owner.
He
owns a hockey team and a soccer team.
I keep trying to remember to go watch the Wrexham show. I really want to.
Welcome to Wrexham FC.
Welcome to Wrexham FC. And I love Ted Lasso. And it's like a that type of situation. So I'm interested in that.
You know who else wants to own a football team?
Who?
Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Magic is joining a group that is trying to be Commanders from Dan Snyder. Magic's done a little bit of everything. I'm just looking forward to the Magic football tweets. Congratulations to Brian Robinson Jr. on his touchdown worth 6 points to the Commanders. They'll now try to make an extra point kick, which would be worth one extra point.
Yes. He is a bit of Captain Obvious.
They're always accurate. I will say that about Magic's tweets. But he's trying to buy the Commanders.
It's an interesting franchise to want to purchase.
Well, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong. You can't change the culture of any team. I mean, Steve Ballmer did it with the Clippers. Once you get the bad owner out, I mean, everything else is just curses, and we don't believe in curses, right? Curses aren't real. So you get the right ownership in. It doesn't matter how bad or how poorly thought of your team was in the past. You can change that fairly quickly by running things the right way. I mean, the Padres are a perfect example. Padres were a team that was thought of as at best an afterthought in baseball. Guess what? Peter Seidler decided we're going to change that, and he's changed that. Yeah, it's not cheap necessarily. It's not easy, but if you commit to it, and if the new owners of Magic and the new owners of the Commanders want to go in and make it a first-class football organization, they can make it a first-class football organization.
All right.
I guess we're just going to spin the topic wheel once here.
Fine by me. All right. Get ready for the lot of topic wheel tomorrow. Ben is out.
And even more on Thursday.
And even more on Thursday. Topic wheel Thursday, as it were.
Oh, boy. Damn you, topic wheel. What is your worst habit?
I've been biting my nails for almost 40 years.
Same.
Yeah.
And I cannot stop. I've tried you paint the stuff that tastes bad on it.
You start to like the taste.
Yeah, you do.
You're like, I'll take it. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's not unappealing enough for me to stop doing it.
I do it as well. I chew pens.
I think, yes, people watching you chew your pens on the.
I have an oral
we
fixation.
both have the oral fixation.
Yeah.
And part of it is also a bit OCD because it gets just a little bit off, and I want to even it out. I just want to keep evening it out over and over again, and I'm left with these little nubs of fingernails.
I think this is one for the wives. The wives will be able to. We know what we think. Hey, it's just this, I bite my nails. It's no big deal. Our wives would be the one that can really spill the dirt on us for what our worst habit is.
Why is biting your nails a bad habit?
Because it's disgusting.
Is it just the way it looks?
It looks bad.
It's not bad.
It's not healthy for your nails. First of all,
it's not healthy for your nails, but it's also disgusting.
It is.
I mean, you drag your hands across.
Yeah.
God only. I mean, our phones are disgusting. Like
I crack my knuckles a lot, all the time, and if I start thinking about it, then I just have to crack my knuckles. And I've always, again, I don't really know the science behind it. I've been told it's really bad for you. But I'm like, I don't know. Then why are they so easy to crack?
Yeah,
why are they not supposed to be cracked?
It's my oral fixation is my worst habit. I chew literally everything: paper, plastic, name it.
I don't leave the toilet seat up. I've been trained fairly well on other bad habits. Like,
I mean, that's really like, I don't have any bad habits anymore. Habits that are bad for me. I don't really drink much. I don't smoke cigarettes really anymore. I went to switch to the Zens. It's not easy. It's not easy to break that oral fixation. And for me, I just gnarl pens. I chew everything.
I think another one for me would be eating late.
Oh, the late snacking.
Late snacking is a bad habit,
It's
I guess.
a terrible habit.
Bad health habit, at least.
Yeah, it's one of the worst things you can do. Yeah, it really is. All right.
We will have Sammy Spring Training checking in. I don't know what he's been up to over the last 24 hours or so since the Padres were off, but I always like just seeing what's going on with Sammy. We're so close to the end of spring training here for the Padres. Maybe get some of those answers to those questions, or at least his thoughts on answers to those questions we were asking earlier here in the final week of spring training. We'll get to that coming up with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Pfizer and BioNTech. Planning for an upcoming trip? Yes, I am. It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility schedule at vaccines.gov, sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Now, Sammy is getting ready to come back from a very long trip in just a few days from Peoria, Arizona. We'll talk with Sammy spring training after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Bob's Discount Furniture. Well, guys, last time I talked about the North County, so let's talk about the greater part of San Diego this time around. Seeing a lot of collisions on transition ramps. For instance, westbound side of the 8 at the 125 got a crash. Also traveling on the eastbound 8 past Taylor Street, collision. Looks like that one is in middle lanes. Northbound side of the 163 at the West 8 connector ramp got a collision. Eastbound King Freeway near Massachusetts. Looks like a vehicle went off the roadway over to the right shoulder. Southbound 5 at Gilman, a collision. Southbound side of the 805, right around 43rd Street, it reports the crash, so that may be in the clearing stage. Plenty more trouble spots out there, guys. Continue to take it extra carefully. Have your headlights on so other drivers can see you. Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world-famous Bob Orthopedic mattresses, with all the comfort and quality of a national mattress brand for half the price. No matter your budget, there is a Bob Orthopedic memory, foam, hybrid, or hybrid plus mattress for you. Check them out at mybobs.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out to our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. I don't even have a clue as to what he's been doing over the last 24 hours or so. No game last night, no game until 6:40 today, but we're going to have Sammy spring training on anyway because, it's become just a tradition for us this month.
It's like my morning coffee.
We can't wrap up the show without talking to Sammy.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Hey, buddy.
Good morning, guys. I'll give you a little rundown of what I've accomplished over the past 24 hours. I have done some work stuff, but yesterday I went to Topgolf for a little bit. And keep in mind, I am not a golfer. I've never played an actual round of golf in my entire life. But I have to say I was fairly impressed with what I did at Topgolf. I kind of figured out how to hit the ball straight with the driver. I was getting it up to I think the highest I hit was like 175 yards, which seemed pretty good for somebody that never hits it. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Had some dinner.
You're like our buddy Foster. You hit it as far
he
as
plays
our
every day,
Foster.
and he can't hit it 160.
He works at a golf course and hits it 175 on his best days.
Right. Well, I should say I was on the second level, so I don't know if how that actually works with you're hitting it from a higher elevation than you would from the ground, but I don't know.
A little more care.
Yeah, I mean, So let me put it in the qualifiers there. But it was fun, and I got some dinner. Got a cannoli from a spot I've grown to like here in Peoria, and everything's going well. And not great weather today, though. Forecast not looking good again. So I don't know. I don't know how much of a role that might play in this game getting played tonight in Peoria, but I guess we're going to find out.
So this happened last week. The Padres had their first off day, and then they had a rain out back to back to end up with 2 days off. It's not exactly conducive to smooth preparation for the season.
Getting in a groove, if you were. I mean, there's still work they can do. There's indoor cages and bullpens and everything else, but it's not. You can't substitute it for game action.
No, you can't. I'd be curious to ask the guys, whether they view it as a negative or not. I don't know. There's a long season ahead, and there might be an argument that you can get your work in other ways. And obviously, we've got a handful of games left, and then 2 days before the season starts, after the game next Monday. Then the days on Tuesday and Wednesday, then you kick off the season on Thursday. So I bet there's an argument to be had either way that having some extra time off. By the way, this game is not canceled tonight. I don't want people to get that idea. But the forecast does not look great. So we'll see what happens.
Now, have you had so you haven't talked to anybody, right? Nobody's been lurking around, and you're not lurking around the facility if nobody's there. What do we have any updates on anything that we had questions on yesterday, Sammy?
To be perfectly honest, no. We'll have an update later for sure when we hear from Bob Melvin and everybody's back at the complex later. But I've not heard anything, any kind of updates on Nola or Soto. Just like you guys, I haven't seen anything else reported that would tell us any further information. So I'm sure we'll get that update later. I heard you guys talking about it earlier, and look, I'm with you. I just hope it's best case scenario, and maybe if it is indeed for Austin Nola a broken nose, maybe he won't miss too much time here and could be ready for opening day. So look, I've spent really the last 24 hours just thinking about it, and you guys talked earlier about the 40-man roster and how that plays into some parts of this. It's a good question for somebody like a Pedro Severino, who, if you go and look at what he did the last time he had a chance to really play consistently a couple of years ago, I mean, the numbers are pretty good. He's a veteran type player. He's not on the 40-man roster though, so you'd have to make some maneuvering there. Not that it's impossible, but you do wonder, if Austin were to miss, any time in the regular season, if he becomes an option, even though Brett Sullivan is the guy that's on the 40-man right now. So I think later today we'll certainly have an update, or at least a better idea of what's going on, what the timetable is for Soto, for Nola. For Soto, look, it's a significant question as well. Just the severity of what this oblique strain is. Is it something that is going to take a few days to recover from, and we could see him in a spring training game, or is this a situation like you guys were alluding to yesterday, where maybe he's shut down until the start of the year? I don't know the answer to that yet, but certainly I would encourage our listeners to stay tuned to social media, because I'm sure at around 3 o'clock when Bob Melvin talks to the media, we'll have a much better idea of what's going on.
I'm curious what he's going to say about Yu Darvish, because last week he was a little
perturbed.
It wasn't popping mad.
What did he say? It's not ideal.
Fit to be tied. I mean, a bit irked of the way he's been used. And once again, Team Japan is not going to start him tonight. And, we don't know how much he's going to pitch. I feel like Bob Melvin just kind of raising his arms going like, I don't know what kind of readiness I'm going to have. I'm sure they're in contact with Yu Darvish, but until they see him, and they haven't seen him all spring, it's hard to make big decisions like opening day starter or lining up your rotation, which he's got to feel like his hands are tied.
Right. It's a really good question, guys. And I suppose we're going to see what happens tonight. I mean, it's interesting because all of yesterday, the reporting was that Yu Darvish was going to start the final if Team Japan got there. And then we find out that they're going with somebody else. And it does seem like Darvish will get into this game tonight. You look at the schedule, if it were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, forgetting the travel element of it and him getting to Peoria, 4 days rest would be Sunday, 5 days rest would be Monday. So is it out of the question that Yu Darvish could pitch in one of those Cactus League games? I don't think it's out of the question. That also begs the question of, if the Padres want him to pitch on opening day a week from Thursday, what does that look like? Again, these are questions that I think are not answered yet, in part because we have to see what Yu Darvish does here tonight, and the Padres have to figure out what their plan is for next week and going into Thursday and going into that first series over the weekend. So quite simply, I agree with you guys. I think there's still a lot of questions around what his schedule will be, what he does tonight in this WBC final. But you look at the schedule, and certainly it makes you wonder if we'll see him in a Cactus League game, because if the Padres want him to start opening day, maybe not, depending on how they want to play it and what Yu Darvish needs to get done to be ready for whenever that first start is. So just like you guys, I'm going to be very intrigued to the World Baseball Classic final for a number of reasons. Number one, because I think it's going to be an excellent game and atmosphere. I mean, you guys talked about it earlier. That game yesterday was unbelievable, just tremendous. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But from the Padres' perspective, certainly I think you're looking for what Darvish is going to do in this game, how long he pitches, how many pitches he throws. And then I assume at some point this week after that, we will have an idea of what his schedule will be and if he will be the guy on March 30th or not.
Sammy, spring training, when are you loading up the car and heading on back to America's finest city, buddy?
I think, and this could change, but I think what I'm going to do is probably go to the complex on Monday, do my clubhouse stuff, and then either head out before the game on Monday or, shortly after the game starts on Monday, try to get back on, Monday evening, then have Tuesday and Wednesday before opening day on Thursday. So I think probably Monday morning to midday Monday, I will pack on up and head out of here.
Skipping the last spring training game.
Genius.
What
It's a Woods
slacker.
move. It's a Woods move if I've ever seen one. That is such a me
Well,
move.
You know who else would skip this last spring training game if they could? All the players and coaches.
Player and coach there. It's so true. It's so true. It's
well, I
the
mean,
most true.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the lineup looks like on Monday. I don't know if that will be viewed as the final opportunity for guys to get their reps in, before spring training's over, or is it, maybe a situation where the main guys work out in the morning and maybe even take a few at bats and then they head out because hey, they got to get back too, right? I mean, and they certainly would like, I'm sure, a little time. Yeah, hey, for a lot of guys and, guys who have not lived in San Diego before, look, we always talk about this. There's real life elements to it, getting yourself settled, where you're going to live, your family, your kids. Depending on what everybody's situation is. So, and then you hit Thursday and you're off and running. You got, a homestand and then a travel day and a road trip, and there's no looking back. So, no, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back there, and but I can't wait to get it rolling a week from Thursday. It's going to be tremendously exciting and fun.
Last thing for me, Sammy, we were trying to decide earlier who we think will be starting in right field until Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back. I think we both like what we've seen from Jose Azocar, but I mentioned Adam Engel. He's back. You've seen him a couple of times. What have we seen? Anything? Have we gotten any observations or informations about Adam Engel? Adam Engel, right?
Informations. I like that.
Informations.
Informations.
Yeah, I think with Adam Engel, he comes back from the calf strain. He's been healthy. He looks good. He's hit the ball hard a little bit. He's played a lot. So that's all good news.
Okay.
I don't think it's I think, is he the front runner to be your starter in right field on opening day? Perhaps. I thought you made a good point earlier, Ben. The more he plays, the more I think about it. I also think that Jose Azocar might be another guy that makes this team, and then there's another spot available until Fernando gets back. But I think Adam Engel's a pretty good bet because, again, we said it. We said it a couple of weeks ago while he was hurt. He's just in a different category than I think everybody else because of the major league deal and, quite frankly, what he's done in the past. But would it shock me if Jose Azocar is the starting right fielder on opening day? No. Would it shock me if David Dahl is the starting right fielder on opening day? I don't think so either. Look, I know he's slowed down a little bit, but he still continued to play well. I do think Brandon Dixon is in the mix. To this point of spring training, there has not been a clear indicator either by, a lot of guys have played well, but there hasn't been this, because so many guys have played well, there hasn't been this, unbelievable standout to where 2 weeks ago we knew who was going to make the team. And we certainly haven't heard the indication from Bob Melvin. Look, I still think Tim Lopes is
I was
in the
just going
mix
to
here.
say, the one guy that has stood out, I feel like is the least likely to make the team, and that's Tim Lopes. Yeah.
Sure. Look, I asked the question the other day because all of a sudden, you may have noticed, Tim Lopes played a little outfield the other day, and he has not played a ton of outfield in his career, but has played a little bit. And I looked at that. I looked at him in left field late in the game, and I kind of said to myself, that's kind of interesting, right? Because he's hit well, and I asked Bob Melvin about it, and look, Bob said they're trying to test out his versatility. So, that's an indicator that he's still very much in the mix. He's played really, really well. So we'll see. It's one of those interesting cases where you have a couple of spots open, and here as we approach a week before opening day, I don't have the answer to it yet, and I don't know what the answer is going to be. But certainly, I think Azocar is among the front runners. Engel's going to be on this team. And then after that, I think it gets a little tricky to figure out. So we'll see. And you guys made a good point earlier with the options and how that plays into it, and
40-man,
who you want to who you want to put on a 40-man. All this stuff is very, very much a part of it. And whether it's pitching, whether it's outfield, the idea that hey, you could lose somebody if you don't put them on an opening day roster, and how that plays in. So very intriguing. We'll see what happens over the next handful of days.
Sammy, spring training, thank you so much. We'll hope that the weather we have here right now gets lost on its way to Arizona and doesn't impact you these last few days of spring training. Appreciate it, though, as always.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Sam Levitt with us on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Wouldn't it be Ben and Woods if you go on vacation, the Padres just get rained out? There's just no Padres news whatsoever.
Well, usually it's the other way around. Usually I go on vacation and something massive happens.
Yeah.
Trades, injuries, big things happen
Signings
when I
and
leave.
things. Yeah, it's true.
But
what could be in
I
the
trust you both to manage the fort. Whatever happens, if there's nothing happening, then I trust your avant-garde creativity to take over. And if a bunch of stuff happens, I know that you can talk Padres baseball with the best of them.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm excited, though. I don't have a quote-unquote bucket list, but this is kind of a bucket list item trip to see the home of American golf.
This is a bucket list.
Somewhere I haven't been before and would have always wanted to go. So definitely looking forward to these next couple of days. And by the way, we have listeners in North Carolina who have come out, and they definitely want to say hi. So I'm making plans to see Jordan and Dean while I'm out there. Hopefully we'll be able to connect with a couple of great tier ones that are North Carolina based while I'm on my trip the next few days.
Which is incrable. It's so fun.
There's tier ones everywhere now.
Nuts,
Where have we been finding tier ones?
India.
Siberia, India.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Now, I haven't heard from him in a while, so I hope that he's
scared him away.
Still, yeah. He probably didn't like our topic selection or something.
Perhaps you and Hannah would like to go on a trip to India to meet our tier ones.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm up for anything. I've got the
based on your reaction to the food at the Loyal game, you don't want to go to India. You weren't a big fan of Indian type cuisine.
I've tried it. I didn't like it. I'm very basic. I wasn't expecting you to call me out for that right now, but
you don't like Indian food?
I don't. I tried it. It's not. I'm not a fan.
I enjoy good curry. I like curry.
I know you do.
I like Steph Curry.
As do I.
On that note,
have a great trip. We'll miss you. Play well. Hit them
Thank
straight. You. And enjoy your time.
See you on Monday. We'll talk Aztecs, and it'll be opening week for the Padres when I'm back.
It's on.
I've almost made it here. All right, for Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your week and a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.